Just tried to steal all the snacks.
That's what malfeasance. Isn't that what malfeasance? I'd actually
stealing snacks.
Yeah, snack stealing.
If you look that up in the
I'm gonna go
dictionary.
look it up right now and make sure.
Hello.
I think it might be the definition, to be fair.
Wrongdoing.
Yeah,
but snack wrongdoing. That's the real question.
There's no worse wrongdoing, especially by a public official. Are you a public official? Are you a reasonably elected? Do
I have to say
host of this podcast?
Do I have to save?
Yeah.
Here's one of those, like 2 truths and a lie thing. I was written and elected as a public official before, but declined the post.
That's a lie.
Wow.
That's a lie.
Wow.
That's true. That's true.
Look,
well, real quick. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, Internet. We're live on the Internet. This is the Full Nerd podcast about PC hardware news. But this is the pre-show. This is the fun part. Everyone tells me that this is the show.
We should just do a whole show that's nothing but this.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
That's what my mom tells me too.
Yeah. Oh, your mom too? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she watches the pre-show and then she jets.
Nice. All right. Well,
amazing.
Yeah. Elena, you asked if I brought Kwai chips back, and I had gotten like 8 bags. But I made a tactical error when I was trying to bring snacks back.
Oh no!
So I had to jettison some stuff, which was the doubles of Kwai chips. But I got some Kwai merch. Like I got a mouse mat.
That's a pad.
Whatever. I got a mosquito repellent clip.
Okay.
I got a charm.
What kind of charm? Like a case charm?
No. It's like a magnet charm, but like what's like the Chinese charm? Like the little. It looks like a tea bag.
Did you put it on your phone? Is it like a phone charm?
No. Well, I got one that's a magnet, one that's something else. I can't remember.
Is it like one of those like temple blessing things?
Yeah. Oh, kind of like that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I got a bunch of merch, but I did get a bunch of bags. So there was one that was exclusive to Computex. I had to hunt around for that.
Ooh.
And then there was one at Syntrend, the electronics plaza in Taipei, that if you spent over $2,000, you could go NTD. You could go get. You show the customer service your receipt, and they give you a special Syntrend bag of Kwai. And we were sitting there for like a good 10 minutes. She had to take my passport and like sign me up for like an account and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's worth it for a bag of these chips. And then somebody next to us who was a native had gotten there early before us, and they ended up like being like, oh, okay, well, thank you for registering. Here's your bag of special. I think it was their 10-year anniversary.
Is it like a different flavor Kwai?
No, same thing.
It's just normal thing. Just
same thing. Yeah, just a different bag. And they gave it over, and the guy looked. He was like, and I was like, hey, if you don't want that, I'll take it, man. And he's like, yeah, go for it. So I got 2 of those, but I had to jettison one, like I said, because I ran out of space.
You know what you need to do? You need to take one of those bag resealer things that's on the TikTok shop, and then you can suck all the air out of the bag with a straw and then seal it up real close.
That really would have helped.
Yeah. Next level thinking.
No, but yeah, I got a bunch of different flavors. Lindsay's going to help me put up like a bag collection in my office. Because now I have a ton. So anyway, and then I brought goodies for Will.
Those of us who were left behind,
and for Elena. Sorry, Brad. Maybe I'll box you up something.
Nah, it's all right.
But yeah, I got like a lime Kit Kat.
Ooh, a lime Kit Kat.
Yeah. Hello Kitty stuff.
Is it made with real Hello Kitty?
Yeah.
The tomato pretz look compelling.
Yeah. So it's a tomato flavored Pocky, essentially.
Pretz?
Well, those are pretz.
Yeah.
Those are
No,
Pocky without the chocolate.
I know.
Yeah, it's different.
And then I was very excited because you know how we talk about smuggling Kinder eggs over the border.
Yeah, we don't talk about where you smuggle.
I have no events of no recollection of the events in question, but continue.
And then I found there's knockoff Kinder eggs.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, those are nice and legal.
Yeah. So there was this one is a RoboCar Polly. I don't know what this
those
show
look
is.
like cars, but not really.
Yeah, they look like knockoff car, Disney cars. And then they had Hello Kitty, and then they had Hot Wheels. And I was like, I told Willis, I was like, we're fine because I think it's actual branded Kinder eggs that are illegal.
Yeah, those are nice and legal.
Yeah, you can't just make chocolate eggs with toys inside illegal. That's not.
No, that would be impossible.
Yeah, so this is fun. I went straight up to the counter And when they were like, when coming back into the U.S. and they were like, hey, you bringing any firearms or any illegal substances? I was like, no. He's like, you bringing any food? And I'm like, yeah, I've got these right here, but they're legal. And I just showed it right to his face, and he did nothing. He did nothing.
They couldn't do anything.
He couldn't do anything.
Nice and legal.
Yeah. Also, Space Dunk Oreos.
I want to try Space Dunk Oreo.
Yeah. I don't know what it tastes like.
I assume we have to get some milk to do the dunk, because if it's a Space Dunk, it implies that you have to do a dunk.
Probably Space Burst Cream.
Space Jam, you mean?
I don't know
not
about
Space Dunk.
Look,
See, that's what I thought it was like. Space Jam.
they should have named the sequel Space Dunk instead of Space Jam 2.
Space Dunk.
I totally agree.
I mean, actually, though, in the modern era, it would be more like Space. We're going to have a really boring game. Everybody stands on the outside and we just shoot threes a lot, which I like. Look, it's fine, whatever. But
Every now and again, they drive to the hole.
I mean, every once in a while, somebody does it. Like, people get excited when there's a dunk in the NBA these days. You get like 2 a game, maybe.
Dang.
Yeah.
Angel Bird or Agent Birdnest says, I don't know what Space Dunk is, but put it in my mouth. Yes. Exactly.
Look, the one thing that's really great about late stage capitalism is there's an infinite number of Oreo flavors now. Some of them are really terrible, but most of them still great.
Jeff from Craft Computing is in the chat. Hello, Jeff. Welcome back.
Jeff.
He says, looks like a fourth of your snack hoard actually made it home. I would say most of it I was able to fit. Here, I'm going to show you the photo just because I can't put this on the screen.
Adam is like, hey, I got a row to myself on the plane on the way home or whatever. And I just assumed that the whole row was filled with like junk food detritus.
Dude,
he's just like,
yeah. No, I was literally sweating the night before because I was just like, oh no, I got too much. I got too much, and I can't bring it all back. Luckily, I boxed up what I had left and gave it to Nick and Claire.
Oh, that's
from
nice.
Gear Seekers. So it was put to good use. But yeah, this was my hotel room before, so this is all the snacks and tchotchkes, and I had already loaded stuff up.
Wow.
Yeah, so
you need a duffel bag that goes inside.
Well, so
your
I had
suitcase.
2 duffel bags.
Yeah.
So this one I put all the clothes in, and then the other duffel bag I put snacks, the expensive snacks, and then I put the rest of the snacks in here with some other clothes that I had. But I still did not have enough. Well, there's so many bags. Yeah, I'll share this with you guys. But yeah, so here's the. I mean, which looks exactly like the mat here. Yeah. And then the Syntrend one, this is the Syntrend one. So
wow,
it's silver and got the little.
I don't know about collectible chip bags. That feels.
Why not?
I don't know, man.
I got an AMD one.
I still have my Phantom Menace Dorito bag with Jar Jar Binks on it, but we don't need to talk about that.
That never ages, man.
No, they're still good.
That's gold.
Yeah.
The kids love Jar Jar, right?
I mean, I'm going to go and tell you, we watched The Phantom Menace for the first time a couple weeks ago with my daughter, and she was like, yeah, Jar Jar's okay. I don't know what the problem is. He's goofy.
Yeah.
He's a doofus.
See? Yeah.
He's like fine. A C-3PO, but he's got big flappy ears, and he's a semi-aquatic.
He's fine.
Yeah.
I did love how in the second and third movies, they took care of that by every time he goes to talk, they go, shh.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, the Darth Jar Jar thing is real and canonical now, right? But
absolutely.
I mean, he's directly responsible for the fall of the Republic. We all know that. It's he got what was coming to him.
I haven't watched it since that theory. Also, Davina says, just eat the chips. No, you're not allowed to eat the green ones. You can eat the other ones. You just can't eat the green bag of Kwai Kwai.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you.
Bad luck.
My wife kept a can of either, I think it was orange soda from the 1981 World's Fair in Knoxville, Tennessee, which was the reason the Sun Sphere was created, as depicted on the episode of Simpsons where Bart got a fake ID and rented a car, and Milhouse and Nelson and Bart and Martin chose to go to Knoxville, Tennessee to see the Sun Sphere at the World's Fair instead of going to Disney World with their rental car.
Okay.
The can of orange soda exploded in our garage in a tub. And it like, if you're going to keep commemorative cans of things, maybe drill a hole in the bottom and drain them out and clean them. Don't keep the don't keep the beverage in there, because the cans don't last forever.
Yeah, I've had that problem with commemorative beer cans. I've discovered that as well.
Whoops.
I have a can of Duff
Beer cans
from
explode?
Universal. Well, the
They're carbonated too. Yeah, if you leave them in a hot place, they'll explode over time. Yep.
Well, and eventually the especially in older cans, the seams will fail on the top or the bottom if there's pressure on them indefinitely. So
I did really consider bringing back Coke Fiber, but I didn't.
You can
try
probably
it.
get Coke fiber at the Asian market here.
You can, yeah, but it's so expensive.
Yeah, and also it's Coke fiber, so
Well, it's good for you. It's
Eat a muffin
it's
and drink a
health
Coke,
drink.
man.
yeah, man.
It's a health drink. Anyway, we're here. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. We're going to talk about Computex. Alex is here. Are you rested? You feeling good?
I'm mostly there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look normal. You were coherent when I came in
It's a
and
good
talked to
day,
you this
good.
morning.
Yeah, using all the words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm to the bad part of jet lag, where at least for the most of the weekend I was just sleeping at any point, at night, during the day, anytime. But that's just mostly because I was tired from the trade show. But now, last night I was up for like 3 hours in the middle of the night because I was like, okay, well, my body's done resting, but now it's not on the schedule yet. So a little tired, but
See, I just get that because of the old now. So it's it's like always being jet lagged.
we'll get there.
It's not great.
We'll get there.
Should we do a podcast?
If I'm coherent enough,
Yeah.
we'll see.
You can do it. You know what episode this is?
Do I?
34.
349. 349.
349.
349. Okay. Yeah, Alex, how you doing? You ready? You
Rock and
excited?
roll, yeah.
We have an ad read because
You
it's
want me to do the
sponsored.
ad read?
Why don't you do the ad read?
okay.
Yeah.
This episode of The Full Nerd is sponsored by Silverstone, the trusted leader in case, power supply, and cooling solutions for more than 20 years. Whether you're looking to build a gaming PC, a rack-mounted workstation, or a NAS, the company offers a wide variety of options to help you maximize the performance and capability of the computer you are building. Head over to silverstonetech.com, that's TEK.com, and check out what Silverstone can do for you.
In this episode of The Full Nerd, we wrap up Computex, put a little bow on it, and also talk about SteamOS. That was good. And welcome everyone to episode 349 of the Full Nerd Podcast, the best podcast on the planet about PCs and the news that circles their world.
It's the only one as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it's science. It's literal science. We've been doing this for too many years now, and we're here to continue to talk about PCs. I am your fill-in host, Adam Patrick Murray, but I'm not alone. I am back with the usual crew after a long Computex week, and we're gonna talk about it. But first, I'm gonna introduce everybody. First up is the co-host with the most host. That didn't rhyme. Is Brad Charkis. Hello, Brad.
Hello, Internet. Glad to be the co-host with the mostest.
Co-host with the most oats.
Most co-host with the most oats. I am tired. Elena Yee, are you tired?
A little bit, but it's really easy when you're back in the box and not sitting at the table.
Yeah, back in the box. We'll get you out of that box soon enough.
So-
What?
Well, I was going to say, it's been almost 10 years of Full Nerd.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is true. Dang. Yeah. Well, we got to celebrate. Speaking of celebrating, Will is back out of the box. He gets to celebrate. Hello, Will.
I was here. Wasn't I here in person last week?
Elena was the
Week
past
before
couple
last?
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but the week that you were gone, Elena and I were here.
Oh,
just the
yeah.
two
I
of
forgot
us.
about that.
And
yeah.
Brad, maybe.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. That was the whole thing.
Was that fun?
You were on an airplane. We had a nice time. It was a good,
I
wonderful
listened to
podcast.
it. Yeah.
It was well hosted.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was much better than
Not the usual kind
Yeah.
of,
Fool. God,
Yeah.
that usual guy.
Yeah. Oof.
And then controlling the verticals and horizontals is somebody who is also jet lagged with me. Is Alex Estevez.
Howdy, y'all.
Estevez. Sorry. Hey, he's back. He's back running the verticals and horizontals. And yeah, we're going to talk about Computex. We're going to wrap up the news. I want to hear everybody's opinion from the home base, the people who did not have to put their boots on the ground. And we're also going to talk about SteamOS because that's some fun stuff. Before we do, I came home to a package. There was a package at my house.
Oh, is it a 5060?
No, the 5060 is still not here.
No, all the benchmarks are done except for the 5060 benchmarks, though.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. No, 8-Bit Do has decided to send me stuff again.
Oh!
So they sent me this
The Nest mouse?
new mouse.
Is that
So retro rate mouse. I don't know why it's R8. Rate.
You got to rate my mouse.
Yeah, rate my mouse.
Is it a vertical?
No.
Or is that just the charging stand?
Yeah, it's the charging stand. So this is the charging stand,
God.
right? And then this is the mouse.
Is it
and
light
then
or something? Wow, that looks really... Oh, okay. I like the
right?
charging stand.
So yeah, when it charges on there, it just sits on the
It feels
dock.
pretty light. It feels like 50, 60 grams, maybe 80 grams.
I have no idea. Let's see if it says. Wait, 77 grams. Good job.
Yeah, so it's more than a super light 2 or Pro or whatever the current good super light is, and less than normal mice. This is a weird shape though.
Yeah, well, because it's
kinda chunky.
ambidextrous.
Nobody wants that.
You can put your buttons on either side.
I mean, that's nice, but I always say, left-handers, no thank you.
Oh, wow. Lindsay's right in the other room.
Sorry, Lindsay.
Jeez. And
It's
yeah,
only
you
15% of the population.
you have
off
the dongle. You can put the dongle in the dock, and then you plug this into your computer.
It looks like you can also put the dongle in the bottom of the mouse too.
Yeah, you can store it there.
So, that was magneted in a way I'm never. Oh no! Whoa.
Don't break it!
Whoop.
Don't break it! I have their original mouse.
Yeah.
And that one was really bad, but that one was just more for fun. This is a little. This is better.
You want to give it the old competitive video game?
I don't
player
know.
test?
I'm just yeah. I'm gonna plug it into my laptop. Maybe I'll use it for the show.
Yeah.
We'll
I mean, it matches Willis 2.0, so it's got that going for it.
Dang,
What? I'm just
rude.
saying.
He's not even back yet. Willis is still enjoying that Taiwan life.
I'm just saying, like Willis is the only staff member that's so valuable that we replaced him with a machine.
Oh, look at this working. It's working on this laptop.
Congratulations.
No drivers.
Yeah, the 2.4 gigahertz thing is pretty good.
So just plug and play. I like it. I
the little dock.
like it. Yeah. You know what else I like? Computex.
Do you?
Computex is fun.
I'm going to tell you.
I've never been. I still want to go.
Yeah, me either.
You guys are missing out.
This
you
one-
should have came.
This one
was sleepy.
This one, I was watching the news and I was like, I'm kind of glad I didn't spend 15 hours on an airplane to get to this.
Well, the plane ride goes a lot quicker when you don't have anybody next to you.
That's
I will say.
probably true.
That actually helped a lot. Starscream this can be wireless and wired. Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz.
Does it has a USB-C plug on the front too, it looks like.
Here and here.
Yeah, so you can plug it in if you need to.
Anyway, Computex, we did it. We're back. I will say a lot of people were asking me, hey, how was the show? And yeah, it was sleepy. Like, we were busy. I mean, I guess I haven't checked our Monday board.
You can always stay busy at a place like that.
1, 2,
You
3,
can.
4, 5.
You guys
6,
posted
7,
a lot of
8,
videos.
9, 10,
There
11,
was
12.
There was definitely more than one video where I saw Adam's face, and I was like, "Oh, he's so tired.
Yeah.
He's so tired."
You know, but like compared to other trade shows, this was like trade show light. This was easy because yes, we were busy and there was stuff to do, but there was no like craziness. And the way that I built the schedule had lots of breaks in it. Number one, luckily, because there wasn't a ton of stuff. But yeah, so like there was only one day that I was like really bad, which was the opening of the show floor day, which is always like, okay, you got to get up real early and then you're out real late that night. But yeah, I mean, we had a ton of stuff. We did over 20 videos. We still have like maybe like a week's worth of content still we need to put up.
That's good.
Nice.
So yeah, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of stuff I want to talk about here. But yeah, I guess let's start with the major news, or the, I guess, lack thereof. Team Blue did not have any sort of.
Did they have Panther Lakes there at all? Like,
yeah, I touched it.
Oh,
I touched Panther Lake. Not only the chip, I also got to touch some
motherboards.
No, they had some engineering, like little boxes that they do their engineering samples in, and then sample laptops. And they were running DaVinci. They were running AI upscaling in Topaz. So it was working.
How many tops you got out of those?
I don't remember. I don't have that off the top of my head.
Whoa.
Oh, he's not too tired, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Panther Lake, I don't know. I talked to Mark about it. Mark didn't end up going to Computex. But you know, we kept in touch about stuff, and he's like, "Oh, they're showing off Panther Lake again," you know. And I was like, "Well, it's running this time." They seem to be very excited.
Yeah,
also,
last time they just held it up, so like, this is a big change.
Yeah, so it was running. They said they're excited. They're saying they're aiming for later this year launch. So
okay,
we'll see.
No, they said 2026.
Did they?
2026 launch.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's what it is. 2026.
It's gonna start getting manufactured this year for a 2026.
That's what it is. And also, I did get official confirmation Panther Lake will not be coming to socketed desktop parts.
Boo.
So we're waiting for Nova Lake. What?
So what is
Nova Lake? So, and then they said Nova Lake, yeah, when it's ready. So, I mean, next year. That's going to be next year. I can't imagine Nova Lake is.
It seems like this year's Computex was like perfectly timed to be in the lull after the we're just reaching a point where like hardware is generally available that was announced last year at Computex in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Like the laptops and stuff have been out for a while, but the Arrow Lake processors came out and nobody cares. The AMD processors came out and everybody's like, they're still kind of hard to find in some cases, depending on which one you're looking for. And then the GPU stuff is the train wreck that everybody already knows about because we've talked about it for 6 months now.
Well, Intel did have new GPUs.
Oh, the Celestial stuff, right?
No,
Broadwell.
No,
Battle Mage
for servers. So, yeah,
that's not really a GPU.
Yeah. Well, actually, they had the first dual GPU video card.
Was it a half height?
No, I wish.
I've seen it in a while.
Yeah. Steve actually did a teardown. I was in the room when he started doing he just started doing it, and then everyone was like, "Oh, is he gonna do? Oh, okay, let's do this." So yeah, it was two Battle Mage GPUs on the same board.
Wow.
So, but only for data center.
I was gonna say it's all the great stuff about SLI packed into a GPU that probably they should just make a bigger version of rather than jam 2 GPUs on the board, huh?
I mean, for what it's intended for, it's probably going to be awesome.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it was like a very sleepy feeling from afar. Again, I was here in the United States, but like the Intel keynote was like, hey, no consumer GPUs. Here's Panther Lake. You'll hear more about that later. It was the same deal. We were hoping to hopefully maybe hear something about Nvidia ARM chips. Never came up.
Yeah, and then you were doing the live stream.
Keynote,
yeah, I did the live streams for AMD and Nvidia.
Qualcomm's whole keynote was basically, hey, we're going to announce something in September. Watch us say that for an hour and a half. So,
well, the Nvidia one, you watched it. So how was the temperature of the room there? I did not watch it. I was not there.
At the very beginning, he talked about 5060 and mobile parts for about maybe 90 seconds. And then it was an hour and a half more, or 2 hours of AI stuff. So
moneymaker.
The chat ended up being kind of a general grousing session with the chat about because he actually said the quiet part loud during the Nvidia keynote, which is like, hey, we wouldn't be here without gamers, and now we're going to move on to the stuff that actually makes real money. And anyway, so that was fine. The audience, I'm going to tell you, I thought that the audience had cooled on AI stuff. Because last year, when Gordon and I were watching the NVIDIA keynote, anytime he would mention LLMs or AI or anything like that, it was like the crowd goes wild, like woo, ha, clap, be like really excited, because all the people in the audience for this thing are the people that make those giant racks of GPU based data center parts that are using terawatts of electricity right now.
And if a lot of people don't know, I mean, Computex obviously is like the Disneyland for us PC nerds, which is awesome, but still that's not even the majority of it. The majority of it is B2B server business kind of stuff. So yeah, like there was a lot of business going on, and AI, like literally the name of the show is AI Next.
Well, so the other interesting thing about the keynote, people weren't responding to the AI stuff, which I think maybe he had to mug for applause a couple of times, which is unusual for a Jensen keynote. The other thing is, he didn't talk about LLMs at all, really. He talked about some specific use cases with like robotics and stuff like that are like highly trained data sets that are the kind of things that like I think AI is probably actually quite good at. And then in the place that they usually talk about the LLM stuff not doing what they say it can do that it actually can't do, they talked a lot about agentic AI, which is the idea that instead of having these broad general purpose models that kind of are bad at everything, you have some really specialized models that are good at a limited subset of things, and then traffic cop models. So like the solution to AI LLMs being bad is that instead of like making the LLMs good, you just throw more LLMs at it, and it's going to be better somehow.
More specialized LLMs. Yeah. I for the first time I heard like agent, like, oh, you have your agent, we have our agent, this company has an agent, like
agentic.
But they keep calling it agents for short. Like I heard that all over Computex. But also I feel like, once again, I didn't watch it, so I don't know. You've watched the past number of ones.
I've watched 4 or 5 of them at this point in a row.
I mean, how many times can he talk about AI without just it being the same thing?
Well, the stock price kept going up, so as long as the stock price goes up, he's going to keep talking about it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say the only keynote that was worth anything was AMD's, but you couldn't watch it.
Well, so AMD's was kind of went up and down. We saw the important.
They had technical issues.
Yeah, they had some technical. They had stream connection issues for everyone. We saw the consumer stuff, and it cut out when it started dropping when we got to like Asus and Lenovo coming on stage to talk about specific partner options and things like that,
which is important.
But yeah, they talked about 9600 XT.
Yeah.
They talked about what a huge success the consumer parts were. That was pretty much it. Like it was. They didn't get into like Strix Halo or any of that stuff. They didn't talk about anything that was really out already, other than to say, hey, our existing parts are doing really well in consumer spaces, like 9800 X3D and stuff like that.
They said 9700 X3D had sold 10 times more than any launch that they've ever had before. For any GPU.
That's good.
I mean, we did actually grill them. 9070 XT.
Yeah.
Jesus, numbers. Sold 10 times more than in any other GPU launch there. We did have some roundtables, and we did press them to say, okay, well, is that just because you had more stock? Because maybe it's just a stock thing. And they were like, oh, it's a mixture of everything. Did you see the lines at Microcenter? Side note, I should have said this in the pre-show. Yeah, but hey, if you're here in the Bay Area, guess what? Microcenter is opening this Friday. There's going to be a ribbon cutting ceremony Friday morning at 9:45.
Who's going to cut the ribbon? Are you going to cut the ribbon?
I did. They didn't ask me, so I'm gonna pass.
This is awkward.
Yeah, right. But I'm gonna be there. Will is gonna be there.
I should be there. Yeah.
Elena might be there. Maybe. So if you want to see some nerds, in the fullest form. Nerds. We will be there representing and excited. We're going to be right there in line waiting with all the sweaty nerds to get in.
Enthusiastic nerds.
I got a text before we started the show from Microcenter.
What do they have in stock, Adam?
They said early access to grand opening deals and thousands of GPUs starts tomorrow at 10 a.m.
1080 Ti's?
Thousands of GPUs.
You think
I would hope at least one.
Okay.
If you have 1,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot of GPUs. Plus, claim your free 128 gigabyte USB with this coupon. So yeah, I'm gonna get another free USB.
I want 128 USB.
What if
better than a floor USB?
Yeah, would you trust a free Microcenter
If I'm gonna
USB?
buy stuff from Microcenter, I'm probably gonna trust them to give me a tchotchke one that's not infected with any business.
Sweet. So we will be there. If you're in the Bay Area, come hang out. Come check out Microcenter.
Do we feel like the 9070? Like, did they talk about what they thought drove the 9070 sales when you pressed them?
Yeah, I mean, they were like, oh yeah, it's a mixture of everything, excitement, the right place at the right time, pricing. They didn't say that. We'll have to get back to you on that one. And then, because they had the stock, so I think it was a mixture of everything. I mean, these are good cards.
Yeah.
FSR 4 is, really good. They did talk about FSR Redstone.
June 5th, FSR 4, we're saying out loud. June 5th, I think it's coming out, right?
Yeah, the hardware accelerated stuff is coming out on June 5th. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they talked about that. They talked about that at the keynote a little bit too. It started breaking
Redstone?
up a little bit. Yeah, the Redstone said what they have 80 titles or 100 titles or something coming for that.
Yeah, well, essentially, there was two things. FSR 4 was going to hit a milestone. I tried to press them for, okay, well, how many of these are in driver versus in game? Because that's been, on both Nvidia and AMD side, I don't like driver level features. Yeah. Please put them in the game. So they didn't have an exact breakdown of where it was going to be, but so FSR 4 hitting 100 titles is separate from Redstone. Redstone is the next version. They were like, we haven't numbered it yet. It could be 3.5. It could be 4.5. It could be 5. Who knows? Whatever. But essentially, they're adding a lot of the features that, once again, Nvidia kind of had, like ray reconstruction, the frame gen being temporal versus spatial, right?
Right, and
that's what FSR 4 already does too.
Yeah, for the upscaling. But not the frame gen, right? Yeah. Something like that. So,
and this is all RDNA 4.
4. Yeah.
4. Because it requires the tensor cores, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually super pumped for the idea of the Redstone thing because we'll see where the 9060 XT falls once we get around to reviewing it. But the 9070 XT actually has really good ray tracing chops.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It in games with basic ray tracing, like 1 or 2, maybe 3 features, it does all right. but it kind of craps itself when it's full-blown path tracing or intense ray tracing. So, I'm glad to see they recognize that and are working against it with Redstone. So I'm excited to see it.
The good thing about the good thing about the stuff being rolled out in the drivers rather than requiring game level changes is that it'll happen a lot faster in these early stages. Like going forward, it won't be a problem because people implement it. They'll just implement the new thing. But if you want, like, it's hard to get developers, especially if they're not doing, if you're talking about games that aren't getting patched regularly anymore, like getting it out in a timely manner is hard because there's no costs associated with that for the developers.
During the Nvidia pre-brief that I sat through, they made a big deal of DLSS 4 in 25 games. Fastest rollout for new technology ever. That wouldn't be possible unless it was driver level and some base, the way you can go in there and mix with that.
I mean, that is a good point, and that is actually something AMD brought up in our briefing as well. It's like, hey, a lot of these games that don't get upgraded past 3.1 or whatever the base FSR it needs to hit FSR 4. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. But new games, come on. Like native integration like that is always the best.
Well, yeah, I mean, and a lot of it, because they don't roll out the SDKs for broadly until the feature is announced. Like if you're going to implement that fairly early in your development generally, and you're not going to upgrade those plugins unless something important changes, because like there's real cost with it.
Also, I gotta check my notes, but they were also talking about.
Nice reporter's notebook.
Yeah. Oh, I know, right?
It even says reporter's notebook on the front, so that's how you know it's legit.
This is from CS 2015.
Wow.
I think.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Luis found it for me. Who is it? Frank Azor was talking about the fact that FSR could be open if the other vendors were willing to work with them. So essentially, being like, hey, FSR 4 doesn't need to be closed off.
Well, I mean, that's true of all of them, though.
Yeah,
we can have DLSS 4 on everything if NVIDIA opened it up.
Yeah.
The difference is AMD is willing to open it up to everyone, and probably NVIDIA not so much.
I can't find it in my notes. I have horrible handwriting. But yeah, so, I mean, and then Threadripper. Hey, Threadripper 9000.
Oh, yeah, they did the new Threadrippers. That's exciting. That Zen 5
That's cool, too. That turned out to be the biggest announcement, the chip announcement, at least, of the show.
Yeah.
Like, new Threadripper is good. Like, yeah, it's still 64 cores, 32 cores, and 24 cores, I think. So the same core count, but now it's all Zen 5, has higher DDR memory. Like, if you're looking to get a high-end desktop, like, this is a solid-looking upgrade on paper. So maybe it's because it was a down year, but I was like, I'm happy there's some new Threadripper at this show.
Yeah, why not? Rip some threads. So
I ripped some threads.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that was it for the big three, I guess. Like, fairly sleepy for the most part. But there was a bunch of small, interesting, weird stuff, which I think we could probably go over some of our best in show picks. You didn't contribute to the article, but did you have any best of show?
Me.
Yeah.
The thing I was most excited about was that ITX board, I think, with the 2 slots. It has 2 physical by 16 slots, or maybe a physical by 8 and a by 16 and a electrical by 16, so that you can do like a capture card and a dedicated GPU in a small form factor. I sent you a link to it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And the way they have it set up is the by 16 is on the back side of the board, so it's designed for like sandwich style.
So you don't have to use a riser card. Yeah.
So you have to use a riser card for that, and then you can plug in a like I said, like a capture card or something, that an SSD multiplexer or something like that into. I think the second slot is a by 4 electrical, even though it's physically bigger.
And was that ASRock? Or who?
I can't remember who made that. I can go find it.
I did not see it physically, but I remember you sending that.
I thought that was I'm gonna go and tell you, like, I would be an ITX guy if I could get 2 slots. It's where I live my life now.
Well, and I saw an MSI board that had 4 NVMe. Oh, here it is.
You found it. Okay.
Maxsun Terminator B850BKB Wi-Fi.
The other one I saw that was cool is Zotac has a 2.65 liter mini PC, like a NUC size PC, with either Ryzen AI Max or Intel with Nvidia 5 series mobile, I think is what it had inside. I can't remember exactly.
Let me in this moment, I'm going to stop talking to y'all. I'm going to stop talking to the audience. I'm going to talk to Zotac real quick. Zotac, if you announce something cool like that, put out some product images so I can write a post about it if I'm not at the show. I'm not allowed to use other sites' photos. I would love to write about this, but I can't run an article without pictures. So if you could please get that on the internet, it would be great.
Well, so I actually went to Zotac briefing and I asked about these mini PCs and they were like, yeah, there's nothing that special, but you check out these mini PCs, and they were other ones that weren't this one you're talking
this
about.
one.
Yeah.
So these are all the Ryzen AI ones. I don't see the actual specs. Oh, yeah. It's a GeForce 5060 Ti GPU with 16 gigs of RAM, which I assume. Oh, no, it says desktop.
So I did see this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did see this one. This one they were excited about, not the Ryzen AI Max. So this has a Core Ultra 7 255H. I might have, maybe I didn't take photos of it, actually.
We'll figure it. It's the week after Computex at this point. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But no, and that's not what was pictured.
This is the this
that's
is not
the other
the
one.
same
That's
one.
the
This is the
Ryzen
Ryzen AI one. Yeah.
So the cool thing about the Zotac one is that it's a desktop 5060 Ti 16 gig version that they retrofitted to fit in this series of mini PC, the Magnus.
Liter,
yeah, and so they said the overall footprint of the actual Magnus is the same as previous years, but they've always had mobile chips. But this is the first time they put a desktop grade chip in there, and he showed me like the engineering and the fans and the cooling and all that stuff. And
was it real
he said
loud?
Performance. Well, I mean, it wasn't plugged in and turned on, so I have no idea.
Boo.
But they also had the world's smallest 4060 Ti, which is a cute little baby. And not only that,
Single slot?
a single slot half height. No, dual slot half height, and then like
so it's
half width.
It's like home lab.
Yeah. Which
cool.
I mean, they've always been one of the best ones to have really small form factor ones. But the difference here was that it looked just like the older brother big version, like visually, because a lot of times the really small ones, they just kind of forgo any sort of looks, and they're just like, it's just generic black. This one actually did look really, really nice. Let me see it, find a video for you. But yeah, that was really cute. Yeah, and Zotac actually. So I have a video that we haven't edited together yet, but Zotac had a they had the Zotac Zone. A second level prototype of the Zotac Zone. I have a quick little video on it, kind of doing a check-in. So there was that for handhelds, but it was just prototype.
I thought that Silverstone case.
That's
case.
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
I was hanging out with a bunch of enormous nerds this weekend, and when I was like, "Hey, did anybody see anything good from Computex?" 2 people independently were like, "That Silverstone 486 case was dope,
dude."
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. And I tell you what. So it was essentially the housing or the frame of one of their SETA cases. So the actual frame is from another case.
Yeah, of course.
They just made a custom front panel with the turbo button, little bar, and then made it all beige.
Does it have the flip down floppy like the last one did?
No, the little floppy ones are just the drive bay slot covers,
Okay,
so you pop those off. It did have a flip down for the front IO at the top.
Okay.
So that was Elena, yeah. I see your face. Big fan?
I don't like it.
Oh, you don't like it?
What?
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? I'm listening to y'all talk about how sleepy it is at Computex. And like, I'm sitting there thinking like, what is with human emotion, right? Because it's like 92 cores was 196 threads. I actually think I got the number wrong in the article, Brad. I actually update that. But I was just like, we're just like, oh, whatever. Threadripper came out. That's nice. And everyone's like, what's awesome? Beige plastic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this?
Yes.
What is this?
Beige. Oh, it looks so pretty.
No, what? No,
It
that was
did.
ugly then, and it's ugly now.
No.
Look, give me
I'm all about it.
give me a Super Micro SC750A,
No,
and that's the last
Okay,
case
so
I'll ever need.
So here's the thing. Maybe it's because Gordon ruined my taste for this, but also, so I also have this association with my my super cheap. I can use that word on this show. My super cheap budget and not in a good way, Celeron PC from the late 90s. And like that thing was just in a beige box. It didn't run well. I tried upgrading the RAM. It was not good times. I had some, and I associate beige plastic with that tier of PC. If you want to capture my heart, like don't get me wrong, the turbo button's pretty nice as a callback or throwback. The lock is also kind of fun. That's neat. But I think it was a Dream Machine on Mac for Maximum PC, or just like a special case Gordon had commissioned for Maximum PC. But he had Smooth Creations do like an elevated version of that. So it was like aluminum case, like this really nice like it's a little slightly darker beige color, and then you had the clear coat on top. It just looked really elegant. It was a nice elevation of the beige case, and after seeing that, I cannot go back to like true representation. Like this reminds me of when I was in Asia. And I was like, okay, like I do this thing sometimes where I'll go to McDonald's in different countries just to see if it's like better or worse than the United States in terms of like quality.
Yeah.
Like Germany, dang, so good. Their egg McMuffins, so much better than the US. Singapore, also better.
What, did they use some sort of like endangered turtle egg or something? Or is it
I don't know. It's good.
Okay.
Maybe it's not endangered there.
Oh, yeah.
I went to Japan and I got just like a regular cheeseburger and I took a bite into it and I was like, you know what? 10 out of 10 for accurate reproduction. 2 out of 10 for actually what I wanted. Because it was like spot on for like your standard American, like McDonald's cheeseburger with the bun that is not probably real bread and it's just like feels plastic. It's like gross, right? So this is how I feel about this case. Like Silverstone, I love their stuff. I think they did a great job from what I could see from being at home. They did a great job of recreating this, but I don't want the accurate reproduction. I want like a better take on it. I'm not, young and rocking a Celeron processor anymore. If I'm going to put stuff in that case.
Oh, no. It is an updated case. So the actual,
I know that.
Yeah, it's got backside connector support,
from the outside.
360
Elena
AIO
hates
support at the top.
is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
It doesn't look that way from that side. The only thing is that, like, look, if you're living in like the hood or like a rough place, like maybe a good idea, because then you could stuff your like RTX 5090 in there. No one's gonna know.
No one would know. Yeah.
I grew up with the 486. That was my first computer. I had a dot matrix printer. I grew up poor, so we had a dot matrix printer for much longer than those folks did.
I did too.
Yeah. And that is what our school printed our report cards on. So I used my old 486 in a case that looked like that to forge other kids' report cards for $25 a pop when I was a kid.
Wow.
This brings back all the feels of my childhood and being rich when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Wow. I've never met a real life grade hacker.
Right? Statute of limitations.
Yeah. That's fine.
You should name the names. I'm looking. This has made me go back and look at my favorite of the beige cases, which is the Supermicro SC750A. This is the most Gordon case I've ever built a machine in because it's like 2 full computers high.
Wow. That is tall.
Yeah, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 5.25-inch external bays and 1 3.5-inch bay, and 5.25-inch bays, and then it has fans that blow into the 5.25-inch bays. Like it has fans everywhere. It has room for 2 power supplies. You can hang a couple 3.5-inch drives off the top rails. It was an amazing case.
That's great.
I think it had feet that's pulled out on the side to give it vertical stability. Like you'd fold them out. We built a Dream Machine in that one year, if I recall. But anyway.
Yeah, Elena, when I get it in, we'll do a build. You get to roast it.
It's your new computer. We'll put a Celeron in there for you.
I'm
in slightly concerned for my safety if I roast it too hard because so many people were like, oh my God, I want it so bad. And I'm like, do I really want to be that person that just rains on everyone's parade?
Well, I don't know.
I do for a solid 5 minutes on the show. But
the Fun Killer is a perfectly viable brand. Yeah. It's fine.
Also, I did the Elena case hug at the beginning of the video.
I did see that. So I saw that.
That was a throwback to you.
Yeah, I saw that in what was it? Mike Kreider's like write up for the site, and I was like, oh, Adam's continuing the tradition.
Yeah, because I was just like, oh my goodness! Like the minute we walked around and we're checking stuff out, and so but Silverstone had a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, which they just so also happened to be sponsoring this show. Yeah. Thanks.
It is actually a coincidence. We just love this case. Regardless of that.
Yeah.
They made great cases. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I had a lot of cool stuff at the show. Also, a power supply. They new power supplies. They had a Flex ATX with kind of like the like. So if this is a Flex ATX power supply, usually the pins are coming out the back. Yeah. The pin, you plug stuff into the back. They had one that had the shelf in the back, so you actually plug here to save some space. Yeah, so that was cool. They're always pushing bleeding edge for power supply stuff. A lot of cool case stuff, a lot of server rack stuff that was not my jam, but Nick from Gear Seekers was like all over it. He's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, so.
Agent Birdnest brings up the other case that I saw that looked dope. I think I saw a Steve video with that height bubble case.
Oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like that either.
Let's fight, because I'm ready to fight.
You like that one?
I thought that one looked pretty good too.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
Bad.
I thought that one was so bad.
It's bubbly. It's so perfect.
It's bubblicious. I think Paul called it bubblicious.
Here's the thing. So I wrote about this in my write-up for one of my best picks for the site, right? Which is that like originally all these like straight line boxy cases were a new take and they looked great, right? So like O11D, like just like very clean minimalist lines, and it was a nice counterpoint to like all the gamer cases that we had that preceded
capital G
with all the fins and like the angles and stuff like that, and like that's great. But now everything is a box. Everything is just like a hard line angle box, or it's like an aquarium style. And aquarium style is cool too. Like I forgot which one I saw for my case roundup. It was the Cooler Master one, I think, which is like 3 sides of glass. Like that one's cool too.
The fish tanks.
Fantex has one too.
Right? And I love the heights. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe you don't want just like straight hard line box shape. Here's something that's like rounder and softer, and it's so aesthetic to me, right? Like because here's the thing, like if I'm building something for somebody who's like got like full cottage core going on in their house, right? Probably someone who's more femme, but like if they're doing full cottage core in their house, like I don't think I'm gonna put an O11D on their desk. Like this case is gonna fit so well with that. Also, if I'm building something for like kids, like they may not care, but some of them may gravitate more towards PC gaming if it's like a thing that looks fun and bubbly and that they like emotionally are attached to because they like the way it looks. Like I would think you'd be on board with that. Like that.
Like if they added a scent to it, Adam would be on board. I'm sure.
Well, I mean, you add a scent to anything.
Well, we can do that. We can have like essential oils on the outside, just like wafting towards you.
Their case is called Strawberry Milk. I'm just saying, like that's the pink color.
I want the red one, 100%. And that's the thing. I so rarely see colors like this. Like I want that red case.
Well, I got bad news about where they are in the U.S. market.
I know,
but
I actually am hoping that even with the markup, I can still afford to, because I actually really want one of those on my desk, and it's very rare that I will put a PC on my desk.
Now,
PC off floor.
Unless it's a little one.
Yeah.
That's the little one.
So now the question I have is, do you go with the glass size? So the thing that I thought was really amazing about this is the curves with the mesh and the holes on the corners is a like insanely difficult thing to do from a manufacturing standpoint. And so I'm wildly curious to know how they did this. I think Steve talked about it a little bit in the video, but they were kind of coy about it with him. I like the curved glass or curved plexi or whatever on the top. I think that looks really, really pretty.
It reminds me of like 70s. What is it, like retro futuristic? Is that the name?
Yeah,
of
like Logan's Run and
I wish they would have leaned a little heavier into that, but
the mesh is not
perfect as it is.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Well, did you see the Corsair one? So they had.
I don't know about cottage core though, Elena. Just for the record.
What?
I don't know about cottage core.
What's wrong? You don't like cottage core?
Like I'm gonna
let live.
I'll channel Gordon and ask, and not, but I won't.
You don't even know what
the hell is cottage core.
You just don't know what it is. You're an old man. It's
yeah.
Okay.
It's like
okay.
I look.
You literally just
Googled it.
Think of like, okay, for everyone who doesn't know what cottage core is, like I'm not even going to define it well because it's very not my aesthetic, but I respect it. Like my impression of it is basically like people who took like all the things that we probably associate with grandmas, right? So like dainty florals and like prints and like color and a ton of stuff, and you just kind of combine all of that into like kind of very maximalist style.
Yeah.
And just kind of whimsical and like kind of like updated take on like grandma.
So
like,
Healy of London liquid soap is what you're saying.
What?
Yeah.
like English Yardley, English lavender hand soap.
I'm actually really curious for this height case to see how it sells in Asia, because I feel like it is probably gonna like really, at least for me, it just kind of hits that like cute, fun vibe that I'm a sucker for, because apparently I was just steeped enough in that culture growing up.
I mean, Height is doing like
it'll do well there.
Height is doing innovative stuff for sure. Like like when they first came out with that corner cut series, and
they started putting LCD screens on the case and backlighting with the internal lights.
They're doing cool stuff for sure. Corsair.
I think it's cool. It expands the like. I could see my daughter building a PC in that case, whereas now she's into laptops and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Corsair had the Frame 4500X. Which actually had the same kind of curved front panel. But then more interesting, the top has like a height style kind of like
lines.
Yeah, lines, but the lines actually go down and they kind of waterfall off the back in a way that I was like, oh, that was really cool.
One.
Yeah, so 4500X.
I was
Oh, here's another picture of it. So it just kind of, so the lines come to the front of the case, but then literally turn and waterfall down off the side. This one, if you're sick of like hard corners and stuff, you definitely look up this one as well, because that was real pretty.
I missed that one. I was too busy like getting, I think was it Jeff from Craft Computing was talking about this on the podcast last week, where the one that's just like, there's just this hole in the back where you're like, oh, where's the panel?
Yeah, that one was weird. Where I mean, cool. Once again, the Air 5400, where it's essentially did you see this one?
No.
So the AIO goes in the back chamber and literally just curves out the back.
So it's just like,
all
the air from the AIO doesn't go into the case ever?
Yeah, it just spews right out the back. Yeah.
It's Gordon's case. But it's like sanctioned and official, because Gordon used to, if you don't know,
open in the back
before,
like that.
But Gordon used to do all his testing where he would just take the AIO
just
fan,
dangling,
and he would just like not even, I don't think it was duct tape, I think it was electrical tape. He would just tape it to the top of the case. Was it gaffer tape?
Yeah.
Even better. So like he would just use a standard like mid-tower ATX case, leave the side panel off, and not even mount the
you just strip the whole thing, just down to the frame. No, good point. Yeah, this is perfect for CPU testing, because nothing affects the AIO, and the AIO affects nothing else.
But
it also makes it super deep. Like this thing was very wide.
Can I, old man, yell at clouds again for a second here?
You're not that old. It's okay.
Can we, the Gen Z kids and the Gen Alpha kids using aesthetic as if it's a verb that means something, an adjective that means something specific?
Yeah.
It annoys me. It really grinds my gears, is what I'm saying.
Come on,
I don't want to rant
man.
about it, because that's a thing.
Come on, old man.
Like, aesthetic
you don't like
the
aesthetics?
container. Aesthetic is the container for a series of things that mean specific things, right? Like vaporwave is an aesthetic. It's like the pink and the blues and the pastels and the gradients and all that business. That is an aesthetic. Saying something is aesthetic just means nothing. It's like you're saying, oh, this is
That means it looks good.
Hey, Adam, you like this new style case? No, that doesn't mean anything. Stop that. Stop that. Use the word that means. Make up a new word. Don't take over the word that already means something and make it mean something else. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Kids these days.
It's true.
Yeah, it's all their damn avocado toast. and I don't know what else I got. I got nothing else.
I didn't get a chance to see it, but also Trikes had a new case that looked really cool. A lot of what is it called? Not fabric's not the right word, but I guess it is kind of fabric. Did you guys see this? So
fabric, really?
Yeah. Let me.
This is TRYX.
Oh, Elena. Elena didn't like your aesthetic talk.
She felt like I was coming at her.
Yeah, she was very angry. Man, I can't find the name of it.
Look, Davina, at least Riz means something. Riz is a word that didn't exist before, and they made it up, and it means something. I respect the Riz.
Oh, Flova. That's what it is. The Trikes Flova.
Wow.
I don't like that name.
Flova.
Is that like Flava, but with an O?
Name at all.
It's like the, Oh no, this. Oh yeah, is this? No, this isn't the one. No.
It reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where they're trying to guess his girlfriend's name. I'm not gonna get any further into that.
Mulva?
I don't like that name.
Mulva?
Yeah, Mulva.
There.
Mulva.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here it is. Okay, I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, the front is mesh, kind of like fractal.
Yeah.
Like it felt
like
fractal.
I like a meshify. Oh, that looks
and
like
then,
a
and then
one,
the side is mesh as well. And then on the edge corner here,
Yeah.
that's an intake. So that intake
Oh, I like. Well, so that's
is one of those fans, those tower
the
fans that
skinny
blow
boys?
in.
Yeah.
So essentially, it adds more intake and like it.
So does the air go through the cloth on the front of this thing?
Well, so yeah, you can put front mounted fans,
I'm gonna have to
but then
vacuum that. I
also
don't
this
want
one
that.
as well.
Yeah. See, my house is too dusty for that.
Yeah,
You got to live in like one of those clean room houses
Yeah.
to do one of those.
it looked cool though.
I don't mind the idea though. The idea
Yeah.
of making cases with a cloth ain't a bad idea.
Yeah. No, I'm into that.
Yeah, I mean, I like Fractal doing it.
Asus is in the chat.
Oh, it is Flova.
They say,
Yeah.
I'm betting it's JJ probably, but they said that we offer a rear mounted design for radiator with the GT502. So yeah.
Yeah. Elena, are you back? Hello.
I think so.
You were-
Apparently, Zoom wasn't playing nice with this PC, so who knows if I blue screen again.
Oh,
She was sick of my business is
yeah.
what it was.
We thought it was
coming
Will.
at your aesthetic
You were
people.
very enthusiastically criticizing the children
Yeah.
for using aesthetic in a different way.
Yeah, for
And
making
before
it-
I blue screened, I was going to say, like, you know what, Will? Maybe this is just the natural progression to how we start speaking, like the episode of Star Trek was a Dharmic.
Yeah.
You know, we're just
And nothing
speaking
but
nothing in
idiom.
metaphors that reference other things, but you somehow, like, I've always, like, linguistically, I've actually always wondered how you would get to that point where people would understand. Like, do you just forget what it references and you just learn? I guess you just learn that that phrase means this, but you don't actually know what it's like referring back to.
Well, so there were a large number of people in like the 90s that were exclusively spoken movie idioms because we had a monoculture back then, because we had network TV and like cable was even relatively limited. It was before the
Sure.
explosion of subcultures of the 2000s and 2010s. And so people would just reference Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber and Star Wars and nonstop, and it was insufferable. So I think that the Darmok guy, I mean, great episode of Star Trek, that guy would be insufferable to be around, as is evidenced by his depiction in Lower Decks, because you're just like, just say what you mean, man. Don't use your words. Everything doesn't have to be a reference.
You know, in fairness, they are using their words. They're just using them in a very highly metaphoric way.
That's true. That's true.
So cases, Elena, you see any other cases that you were excited about?
Yeah, so it was funny because I think it was Will, and they were talking about was a Dream Machine, the case that was like 2 cases tall.
Yeah, the SC
And
micro,
so
super micro, yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of a segue into what my first pick was for the show, which was the Inwin Chronomancy. That thing stands at like 3 feet tall. It's like 1.1 meters tall. It's amazing. Like, I'm not even into like cyberpunk kind of stuff.
Yep. This is the
me, it
one that
looks
you
very
can wave a
cyberpunk.
wand.
Oh man, this is
Like-
hot.
Yeah, so it's like blue plastic, transparent blue plastic mixed with like this kind of like medium to dark toned aluminum, and it's rounded. And so when you open the case, it kind of like curves around as opposed to just like swinging open. And it just looks so futuristic, but also this great nod to this idea of like wizardry. It just like, it's perfect.
Oh, this
Like,
would be
just
a
the way they
night-
combine the two concepts. If you want to talk about aesthetic, I'm here for this aesthetic.
Well, this, yeah, see-
Chronomancy is the perfect name for that thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It does look like you would be using it to create arcane spells or like, you know, execute arcane
I
spells.
mean, look how big this thing is.
Oh, holy! Is that person like 4 feet tall?
No, that person.
That's a regular height
yeah,
person.
that is a regular height person.
Wow.
This thing
This
stands
thing
at
is
like over 3
huge.
feet tall.
Yeah.
This
It's
this
huge.
this reminds me of that.
ATX case.
Yeah, you wave a wand and it like the gears. See the gears at the bottom.
That's how you open it.
Yeah.
It's like going to Harry Potter World,
Watch-
and you
yeah.
have to do the
Yeah,
magic
it's
spell.
so
See, and it opens up.
I don't know how
Yeah,
I
with
feel
gears.
about that. This looks like one of those things that like you'll build. Does it take a full size board or is it an ITX?
EATX.
What?
EATX. Yeah.
This reminds me of that Zalman passive cooling tower that they sold like 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and also the remember the thermal, was it Thermalright that had the cases that were just like
Actually,
a plane that everything stuck into and it just kind of dangled off the side.
Yeah, like the wall mounted ones, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
I have a request. I don't know if our if our vertical horizontal like wizard and for this show can do this. But someone in the chat mentioned like this would be really nice to see what you're all talking about. Can we like pop up something on the screen like from like maybe from our best of roundup, just scroll to it so we can like show briefly what this is?
Oh, is it in the best of roundup? Mm-hmm. So actually, Alex, you could bring it up over here. Yeah. Okay. If you get, just Google, bring up Chrome and Google PCWorld best of Computex.
Sorry about that. I know it's like production just throwing something at you randomly, but I do think that it's a good point. And then for all audio listeners, if you go to PCWorld, if you look up the best of Computex roundup, and also I think I called it like my favorite, like I love these like 5 wild and weird cases from Computex. Like you'll see like some of the cases we've mentioned today.
That's cool.
Yeah. So the fact that you can use a button to open this thing up, or you can use the wand. Obviously, the wand sounds like the way better option. It's probably going to be crazy expensive because a lot of the InWin signature cases are that expensive. But the way I think I read that this is going to be one of their signature cases.
Oh, this is it.
Like, so it's a thing that they're planning to do. It's not just a concept.
Yeah. So if you want to hit play on that, mute it real quick.
Crazy.
Yeah. There we go.
I love it. It's on screen now.
But
yeah,
also
it's on the screen.
That one looks a little squattier than the picture.
No, it is huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
John,
what is the knob for on the side? Is that just have external ports and stuff?
I don't remember what that is. Yeah. So yeah, there's gears at the bottom here, and when you wave a wand, the whole thing just rotates open. So this is a 5090 Astral. Look how small that is.
Yeah.
And that's a big GPU.
Yeah.
That is a big GPU. So
I feel like they need to hold a banana up next to that for the video for us to really understand exactly.
Banana.
Yeah. You just go back to Zoom. Craziness. Craziness.
We found mystery animal poop in my backyard last week. And when I sent it to
what is the thread here? What is the
I'm going to tell you the banana. The banana is the key. When I sent it to the, because I was like, I think there might have been a mountain lion in my backyard, which is obviously a thing for concern because, mountain lion's scary. So I sent it to the mountain lion guy and he was like, hey, next time you do this, please put it next to something so I have a sense of scale. Like a banana will do, or you can put your phone next to it.
Put your phone next to it.
And I was like, how do I take a picture?
Don't accidentally drop it next to it.
Just put the phone into the. It was a lot of poop. Anyway, it was a coyote. Is the TLDR.
So here's the thing with bananas, though. Like even those aren't standard.
That's
size.
what I said.
So usually,
that's the joke.
When I'm using a banana, sometimes I've used bananas, and so like even then I'll still put like a dollar bill or a quarter next to that, even still for like ascending scale, so people can get a sense of it.
Banana for scale is the universal truth. I agree that it's universal, but banana for scale, that's all you need.
I remember when Photoshop added the feature that you could like calibrate the length of something to measure how long it was on the photo. So you put like a quarter in the picture.
Oh,
and the quarter is X number of millimeters and you can go off. Anyway, banana works better. That's the TLDR.
Okay, banana for scale. Yeah.
I have at least 10 reviews that have a banana on them of mini graphics cards and mini PCs and stuff on the PCWorld website.
Yeah. Shout outs to bananas.
Perfect.
You use a Gross Michelle or a Cavendish as the question?
Bananas.
Bananas. Okay.
Gross Michelle? That's a kind of banana?
Banana.
It's GROS. No, Gross Michelle, MICHEL, is the old banana flavor. It's the old style banana. And since all bananas are clones of every other banana inside a specific variety of banana, the Gross Michelle got a blight in the 50s or 60s, and they had to replace it with the Cavendish, which if you ask people who've had both, they'll tell you that the Gross Michelle is a superior banana.
Sounds gross. And also, it's called the Big Mike.
Well, I mean, that's what Gross Michelle means in French. Big Mike. Large Mike.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That's why banana flavor tastes different than fake banana flavor. Yeah. That's why banana runts don't taste like bananas, is because our bananas are suck compared to runt era bananas.
Wait, so fake banana is the first iteration you talked about?
Yeah.
Runts is closer to the actual taste than current bananas. Yeah.
You can get Gross Michelle if you go to the fancy grocery store, but they're hard to grow and they get the blight.
Well,
shout outs to Big Mike.
Yeah. What about Brad? Brad, what was some of your favorites from the show? Your best of?
Most of mine were already covered. I love that Silverstone case. Again, brings me back to forging report cards for money back in the day. I really like the MSI Prestige 13. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, like Yukio-E edition. that has so my favorite artwork of all time is the Great Wave off Kanagawa. Like Gordon on his last trip to Asia actually got me like a scroll of that from a Shinto shrine because he knows I love it so much. And this particular laptop has like insane custom lacquer artwork in Japanese style of that theme on the cover, on the lid.
Oh, that's amazing.
And like it would cost way too much money. Not sure it's going to come to the US, but I'm absolutely in love with that thing.
Yeah, they had
it's like an 8 or 10 step process to create it.
Yeah, they had a cool setup at the booth, kind of showing it in different stages. Like screen printing isn't the right word, but they're, you know, essentially putting the different layers on. And so they said they actually had to take all of the top lids, ship them to Japan to get that done, and then ship it back. Yeah, I mean, it looked super impressive.
It's the aesthetic alone.
Yeah.
Like
that's an aesthetic laptop.
No,
that is an
one
aesthetic
of those is right, one of those is wrong. You know, they should do.
Will's face.
That's the reason I like that one. It was funny we did a sponsored video about it, but the Asus ROG Falcata keyboard, the split design ergonomic pure ass gamer keyboard, but you
What,
won't
it's an ergonomic?
break your wrist trying to use it. Huh?
Yeah, so it's split. So you can position it many different ways, and then it has little feet that
It's
you can put
actually a good-
underneath.
Is it columnar or is it the normal sane person layout?
Sane?
It's
Normal. It's normal person.
Oh my god, I'm so
this
excited.
is
I gotta try
actually-
that.
It's funny because you would think that I would have been the one to jump on this, but everybody else on the team who doesn't use ergonomic equipment jumped on it so much quicker than I did. Like Kreider ended up writing for, I mean, he's our keyboard guide still, but like I thought it was hilarious that everybody was just like, I want this. And I'm like, you don't even have broken wrists like I do. I should be the one that's this excited because it even has a tenting kit built into it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which I'm super excited about.
How much
because-
is it? Is it expensive?
I don't remember the price.
I don't know if they said the price.
They did not. They did not
Probably
say
for us
the
in the
price,
US, it's going to be expensive because of all of our fiscal policy stuff right now.
Yeah.
But like,
There is no
the
other
closest-
major brand gaming keyboard that's like this.
Yeah, this
so
is
if you
the
want
first
it, you're gonna
gaming
have
one.
to pay
Yeah.
the money.
There's only
Yeah,
a
so, like-
hand. Sorry, Elena.
I was just going to say Keychron is the closest we've gotten to like more mass market kind of option, and that one does not come with a tenting kit. Like you'd have to buy some kind of, I saw one that was like a plastic one for like maybe $25 that you can stick on, but it's like if your keyboard, if like the case part of it is made of aluminum, like sticking on plastic tents like just feels like gross and cheap, you know, like you want it to match.
And these come with different heights for the feet, and you can position them in different ways. So you can have it like this. You can have it like this.
Can you do negative angle like the?
You can.
upper 4000?
You'd have to take off. Yes.
Probably the wrist rests.
But
have to go,
yeah,
right?
the wrist rests have to go, so it kind of wobbles a little bit. But yeah, I was trying around a bunch of different weird configurations, and the PM was next to me being like, what are you doing? This is so stupid.
Well, so
And I was like, well, how could you use it? Oh yeah, so you screw in these little feet. My only thing was like, I actually wish the tallest feet were taller, so you could get even more
because like
angular.
my Keyboardio, you can get almost. It's not like 45 degrees. We can get a solid 30 degrees, but that's like post tariff changes. It's probably a $450 keyboard now. Where when I bought mine, it was $300, I think.
Yeah, so you just screw them into the bottom. The wrist rest was real nice, like a really nice silicon rubber mat.
Are the wrist rests independent as well?
Yeah, you
Like
can
pop
take them off
Okay.
or put them on. And then they had magnetic switches. So the people there had a cool little setup where you could actually press down on this and you could see the.
Does that mean you can't use them for Counter-Strike? Aren't they banned for Counter-Strike too?
Are they?
Razer got banned for Counter-Strike too. I
Asus
know.
is telling us in the chat
Razer
all
got
the
banned.
different configs.
No feet deployed, 3 inches low, 8 inches high.
3 degrees.
Oh, 8 degree high feet. Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
that's my only thing I wish.
That's one of the things I'm psyched about.
It is cool.
Because we've never seen anything like that from a major brand. Like Keyboardio,
No.
like you were saying, you can't walk into a Best Buy and buy that.
No, I mean, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
specialty product. Yeah.
I will say if anyone who is in the position to do this is listening, I would love like a special like extreme tenting like swap kit, or like so I could like put, because like, okay, so my ergonomic keyboard is broken because gold touch keyboards are notoriously finicky with their handle. So like if you use the handle to adjust the tenting too often, it just breaks. There's like so many for sale for cheap on eBay because of this. So this is my tenting kit.
Oh, perfect. Well, so the nice thing about using
special.
this, is it just a 1/4-inch screw on the bottom? Is it like a normal? Is it like
yes,
So that means
you could 3D print.
Yeah, you can make one easily, and those screws
I want it
like
to match.
well, I mean, you can 3D
Black.
print, or also somebody else in the aftermarket will end up making accessories.
That's
like
true.
somebody will make a tent that you just screw it
hope
into,
so.
and it'll be good to go.
Good
I
point, yeah.
I would like not to use a roll of was it packing tape to prop it up at the angle that I would like.
Yeah, right.
It's funny. This is a conversation I had with Logitech 100 years ago when I was like, "Hey, why don't you ever make gaming keyboards that are ergonomic?" They're like, "Well, it's not. Nobody buys those."
No, this is great. And then they showed off their new mouse, like super lightweight mouse. I can't remember exactly how much it weighed, but I was like, oh, come on, you guys got to do a vertical mouse as well, like a vertical gaming mouse.
Kids love vertical mice.
Could go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but they were like, maybe. I would say the only downside is that the cable connecting the two halves of the keyboard is, since proprietary signal, it's USB-C for the connection, but it is a proprietary signal, so you have to use that included cable. But that's because it's sending the data and powering it. Like there's a battery in both halves, but so that they needed to have. So you have to use their.
Can it be
Wait, it's
wireless?
wireless?
It can't be wireless.
Can't
yeah.
be wireless. Okay.
But you
No,
can.
I mean, is the keyboard itself
Oh,
wireless?
the yes, yeah. The keyboard can be wireless, but the two halves have to connect.
I missed that detail. That's rad.
So yeah,
Oh my god, I want this so bad.
yeah, super cool.
Brad, are you muted?
Oh, we can't hear Brad.
I'm actually.
There it is.
This thing looks amazing. Like the wireless bit on top of all of this. Like this looks like a really cool keyboard. And I'm actually fine with having to use the included USB cable because it comes with it.
It actually
And
comes with
they have a
two.
reason for it.
Two
Yeah.
different
Short one
lengths.
and a long one?
A short one and a long one. Yeah,
okay.
depending on
That was
how
my
you want
next
to.
question.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. So
Yeah. So I don't. That's not a deal breaker for me whatsoever. Like I saw a lot of people complaining in our video, but that's not. I don't consider that. I don't care whatsoever.
I mean,
I wouldn't call it a deal breaker.
Yeah, you always. I want to say. I actually wonder because the Keyboardio has a split that uses a special. I think it uses an Ethernet cable actually.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's just power and relatively low bandwidth data. But like, it is an incredible keyboard, but it's definitely not a gaming keyboard. And because you use different because of the way the keyboard is laid out, you don't have access to the same keys, so you have to basically remap every game you play. Because it's a non-standard layout for like tab and caps lock and shift and all that stuff, since that's down at your thumb. Having a normal keyboard like this to play games with sounds fantastic for people like me and Elena, I guess, who have wrist problems. So
Yeah.
That's dope.
It's very excited because this space is so expensive for people like me and Will because you're kind of caught between two worlds and they used to be very separate, right? So like I don't know if my quibble goes long enough. Like this is my broken gold touch keyboard. It is very plastic. It's got rubber dome switches. It doesn't feel particularly great to type on, but it's at the correct angle for my wrist. And so if I want to play, I don't really do, this is one of the reasons why I don't actually really do mouse or at least keyboard for gaming on PC, because it's just like that angle for hours would be just terrible for my wrist. That's why I got that weird Azeron like a cyborg thing for this side, and now I can use at least a mouse when I'm playing. And that thing is cool because it actually has a tenting kit. So you can actually put it on it, like it has a magnet bottom. You just go like this and like it angles it like this for your wrist. So you just do this the whole time while you've got like the weird buttons and the thumbstick on this side and I've got the mouse on that side. But I mean, I know it's still not as precise as like true mouse and keyboard. So something like this, like maybe I would actually start learning how to play fully mouse and keyboard.
A lot of the kids these days do mixed mode, it turns out, where they use a gamepad for one hand and a mouse for the other hand, or gyro on a gamepad for the aiming.
What options are there? Because I only really found this like Azeron thing when I was looking.
Well, so the main option is that the way a lot of people do it is they hold like a PlayStation controller and an Xbox controller in their left hand and use the mouse in the other
Low
hand.
rent, got it.
Yeah. Or there are older speed pads is what they used to be called, but Razer makes one.
the Tartarus, yeah.
Yeah, there's a
I think
couple
I'm
other
pronouncing that right.
vendors I can't remember who used to make them, but they have some of them have like thumbsticks.
But they're in a weird spot.
Well,
they're in a weird spot.
They're not for ergonomics. They're for doing analog movement control. The point is, because of accessibility stuff, most games, most modern shooters support mixed mode input now in a way that they didn't, say, 5 years ago when they were just using X input. So it is actually an option if you want to not use ASDF for your movement.
So
It does get a little funny sometimes because I'll see like even Overwatch sometimes where it's like it switches like back and forth the prompts between like the controller prompt versus the keyboard prompt. It's like,
That's
I don't know what it is you're doing over there.
You're doing something unnatural.
Yeah. Well, I did back this thing on Indiegogo a while. I don't know if it'll ever come out, called the Hex Evo, where it's like essentially half a controller for your left hand. So it's,
Yeah.
looks cool.
Yep.
Anyway, hardware, cool stuff. Anything else we want to talk about for Computex before we move on?
Not me. No, I do have to
actually-
leave in 5 minutes, so I might need to split between topics.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then I won't interrupt then. I will maybe ask that as part of the Q&A section as an official question asker.
Is the question about this right here?
I don't want to know what that is. I'm sure it's some
I can't
dirty,
see what it
simple
is.
business.
I have some thermal paste.
Very simple.
I have some thermal paste here. Have you heard about this thermal paste,
Yeah.
Will?
I saw the video.
Yeah. It
I
just
feel
so
like
happens
it's
that you're
related
next to me.
diapers.
It's convenient.
So luckily,
Am I going to get some sort of weird?
Nick, I had asked them very nicely when I was at the booth and freaked out at the lady's face if I could take some, and they said no. But Nick from Gear Seekers is just such a more well-known person that he walked right up and they gave him some. So he was
The accent.
he was kind enough to get some for me as well. So I have all 4 scents here. Will, do you want to do? You want to
I
do a
would like
sniff?
to actually smell those.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, they're here. You will.
Let's do it, I guess.
All right,
now
let's
I'm
do
worried.
it. So this is Luna, where the ocean meets the moon.
Don't tell me what they are. Let me guess.
Oh, okay.
You know what? That's actually some pretty good marketing copy.
Yeah. And no, it's not colored.
This
It's
smells
just
like a
scented.
bath bomb. This one smells like
Wait. But for context, for reference here, how do you feel about bath bombs?
I don't dislike bath bombs. I mean, they make the tub hard to clean, so I'm not a huge fan. But I mean, this one smells like a blue bath
is a
bomb
practical
specifically.
man.
It's not a pink bath bomb or a purple bath bomb. This is a blue.
I guess I don't use bath bombs enough.
It's got a little bit of, well, I have a 12-year-old.
Oh, okay.
It's got a little bit of a floral scent.
All right.
It's very fresh.
It's fresh. That's why this one's my
I'm going
favorite.
to tell you, I go to the ocean all the time. It does not smell this nice. The ocean in San Francisco, because of all sorts of weird die-offs we've had,
Well, but
smells like rotting fish right now.
you got to go
pretty
to
much
where
all
the
time.
ocean meets the moon.
I mean, the ocean meets the moon at my beach all the time. It smells freaking terrible.
So there's that one.
Okay.
Try
Oh,
this one.
I just
This is
gotta
gonna be a
straight
little.
from the
Yeah,
tip.
this is gonna be a little harder to smell from because it's
This one smells like
from a tube.
grape, maybe cherries. I'm gonna blast thermal paste onto my face. I'm sure here.
Just taste it. Somebody asked me to taste it.
Oh, we actually
This
have
one
someone
smells
in
like-
the chat that I think is not sure what a bath bomb is.
Oh.
Maybe we should define this kind of like how I define cottagecore for the group.
A bath
salts.
bomb is like bath salts glued up into a
BOMB.
ball.
Yeah.
But not the other kind of bath salts.
No, not. I mean, people have tried that, but it doesn't work out well for them. So this is like it's like a thing that you would put into your bath to make it greasy and make your skin soft and smell nice, basically.
PC.
Yeah, like my grandmother always had these bath
We're not
gels.
putting Will in the marketing team.
Yeah.
They had these bath gels, and you'd put the gels in, and then the hot water would make the outside melt, and it would get all goopy. And
It makes you feel greasy.
the gels do. The
Ew.
bombs are like they just make your skin real soft and
No,
dry.
it's supposed to be moisturizing.
I don't think it really works that well for me.
Okay.
Look,
well,
I don't have a bath. My bathtub's too small for me.
Maybe
so
you need to exfoliate first.
I exfoliate constantly. Nobody's more exfoliated.
yeah.
than
Never.
I am.
Always be exfoliating is what we say.
That's
around
what we say
here.
at PC. Yeah. I think this one smells like strawberries or some sort of like grape, maybe like grape bubble gum.
It's strawberry.
Yeah.
Yep. So good job.
Okay.
Do this one. Purple.
But this is gonna be grape.
Don't waste it all.
Oh Jesus! This does not smell
is
like
that
grape.
The one?
This is
Is that the one?
this one smells like grandma.
Oh, that is the one.
is like lavender or
We'll explain in a second,
oleander or
everybody.
something
We'll
like
explain in a
that.
second.
Potpourri.
It's supposed to be lavender, yeah.
Yeah, lavender. I'm allergic to lavender. That's a
Or
no for me.
violet,
Don't-
violet, I
Could be
guess.
violet. Yeah, it could be like violet water is what it smells like.
It's,
yeah.
and it smelled like diaper to me. Like,
Yeah, it has a
That's
baby
how he
powder
described
scent.
it on
yeah.
last
yeah,
week's
and
show.
I was
You
like,
missed it, yeah.
oh. And then the last
It
one.
smells like either grandma or diapers.
Yeah. The marketing copy.
You know, I think
6 of
grandma's
one,
kinder
half dozen of
than
the other,
diapers.
Brad.
yeah. And this is the.
Is it that like powdery baby powder smell?
No,
No, it's more like chemically cleaning
It's
smell.
it's like the thing they put in diapers to mask the poo smell.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
yeah.
Oof, we don't like
So
that.
very
This one doesn't
Sterile.
smell like anything.
See, I had a hard time
Maybe a
identifying
little
this as
bit
well.
limey.
Everyone said that or not everyone. There was a couple people that said this was their favorite, including Nick. He liked this one the best, but
I get it in my beard. Is the thing.
I couldn't.
Get your beard.
I don't smell anything on this one.
Yeah, so that's apple. I could not identify it either. But
Yeah.
everyone was like, "What are you talking about? It smells like apple." And I'm
I got
like,
nothing.
yeah. So
I got nothing.
You know what? I honestly think
Yeah.
that Asia doesn't really do a good job of reproducing apple very well.
Maybe there's a taste set. Maybe this is like cilantro and the soap thing, and like some people
Maybe
just can't
like
taste
I
the.
Big
actually
Mike
bought
versus
some,
Runts.
Yeah,
I
Stinky
bought some,
tofu?
like bought some specialty Kit Kats when I was in Japan for my vacation, and I got a bunch of flavors, right? So there's like ube and like Tokyo Shima lemon, which was my favorite. I'm just saying, just because if you haven't tried it, you like lemon, do it.
I like lemon.
And there was apple, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I want to try apple. Like eating it was terrible. It's so gross. Like it was like someone decided like fake apple flavor should be almost like when you bite into the seed, right? When it's like kind of that weird center, almost like poisonous flavor. Like it was just, and it just leaves a nasty aftertaste in your mouth. I gave it to a friend of mine to try, and he was like, "Oh, it keeps going. Oh, it's not leaving my mouth." Like it was so fucking freaking hilarious.
I was gonna say, I wonder if they grow different varietals of apples. Like,
I don't know.
we've
It's
done
very artificial.
Yeah, we've done a lot of mad science on apples in North America. I know
yeah, so I have had this wax apple, which is
it's a nutritious fruit. Adam.
yeah,
It does not look like an apple.
it's native
looks like
to Southeast Asia, including Malaysia and India.
It looks like a red pepper.
Yeah, so I've had that before, and that does not taste like an apple. It's more porous, like a pear, but red.
Porous.
Yeah, porous.
What an interesting word to use for
Porous.
flavor.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
don't like.
you love it.
I don't like scented thermal paste, Adam.
Wow.
I'm just gonna get out there.
You're a hater. It's mine then.
Yeah, it's all you.
I want
We're gonna have
to. I
to
want
save
to
that
have.
for Brad to try
Yeah,
when he
I
comes
wanna have
out of the
Elena smell
office
it.
next.
But Brad needs to go, right? Brad.
Yeah, sorry about that, but I
All right.
do need to go.
Bye,
No worries.
Brad.
Thanks for hanging out, Brad. He's the important one. He's
Yeah.
got meetings.
Oh no.
I won't be here next week. I'm on vacation next week. And
Ooh,
for part of that
congratulations.
meeting,
Nice.
I'm going to go watch The Witcher 3 in orchestra for the 10-year anniversary down in Boston.
Yeah.
That's about
We
it, and I
love
will
that.
catch y'all in a couple weeks.
Cool.
Have fun.
Thanks, Brad.
See you, Brad.
See you
Adios,
later.
Bye.
Okay, so I think for
just
Computex,
me on the
yeah.
screen.
Now it's just Elena. Just lonely Elena.
Full Elena.
The full Elena. Yeah, Computex. It
Yeah.
was fun. It was a good one. It was sleepy.
Night market's good.
It's still good.
Did you go to the night market?
Oh yeah, we went to plenty of night markets. Did not eat the stinky tofu.
Alex
Actually,
said you didn't let him out of the hotel room long enough.
I
he even go to
didn't,
the
yeah.
night market.
yeah. And if he
question.
put like a tase, what?
Sorry, I'm a little all over the place
Yeah,
today.
please.
But I wanted to ask a question, like the serious stuff. Before I do want to hear about the night markets. I want to hear about like what it's like to be in Taiwan in general when you're surrounded by all that stuff. But because it was a sleepier Computex, like what are you anticipating? Because usually Computex kind of gives us an idea of what to expect for Q3, Q4. So like the second half of the year, like the products we're going to see, kind of the vibe for what we're getting. Like, do you think it's just going to be kind of dead for like what we can expect in fall and winter this year? Or is it just that there's just so much emphasis on the enterprise stuff being shown, but consumers will still have something to look forward to?
Well, yeah, I was definitely asking each vendor around obviously there's the tariff situation, but we are kind of in a off cycle, right? A lot of stuff got introduced at CES, and then the tariff stuff made stuff worse. I was asking a lot of companies like, hey, has that changed your plans on releasing stuff? Are you waiting? Are you just just coming out with less stuff? And a lot of people were like, or a lot of companies were like, yeah, we're kind of on hold in some product categories. Other product categories are moving forward, but maybe we're just not going to ship to the US, or we're going to focus on Europe more. So it was kind of all over the place. Either way, everyone was like, yeah, but CES is going to be a banger. Next
Really?
That's what they were
CES.
saying?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I was also asking about IFA, because we did go to IFA last year, and there was a little bit of PC news at IFA, but yeah, for the most part, they were like, no, CS is going to be where it's at, but which would line up. I mean, if
That makes sense with timing, yeah.
yeah, if Intel's saying, hey, Panther Lake's coming out, or around the beginning of next year, then CES would be the natural launch point. So that means that's where you would get the new laptops
Maybe
being shown, all that kind of stuff.
New GPUs, new CPUs, all
So
Maybe, yeah.
would you say that like this is going to like the rest of the year is going to be a better time for people who are to use Will's favorite word,
Aesthetic?
to try different aesthetic builds and like just experiment more with like, because I from what I could tell from being at home, like does seem like the back connector thing is like still steadily growing. There's more cases that are supporting it, and I feel like at least from our end, for our channel, like we normally do, we focus on like the actual hardware launches, not so much, so much the surrounding ecosystem with building right now. So I'm just wondering if like, just throwing out here in real time on the show, like maybe we should be doing some more live builds covering kind of like these different style of cases and like different ways you can take your builds, because I mean, you want to do the beige case. I would love to do the bubble case. Sounds like I was noticing like more like small form factors that were supporting back connector, if I remember right, looking through some of the press releases. So it just seemed like there's more variety entering the market, even as we don't have newer hardware to really just stuff in there for funsies. So I was kind of wondering from that perspective, like what do you think is going to be the most exciting thing for PC builders come this fall, or is it just going to be a holding pattern?
It feels like a holding pattern. Like, yeah, I mean, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there will be some good stuff in the fall, but like, it feels right now a lot of people or a lot of companies seem to be slowing down a little bit, but then also if people are tightening their belts on buying stuff too, I think a lot of people are just like, I'm going to hold on to what I have for a little bit.
Interesting. I think this could be a fun poll for everyone watching.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are you planning to do with your PC building for the rest of the year? Are you going to just hold? Are you going to do some aesthetic upgrades or like retooling?
New monitors. There's still tons of new monitors.
Yeah, you're going to upgrade. Are you going to upgrade like the things around? So like kind of like supporting your PC build, whether that's your monitor, your keyboard, your mouse. Would you add like a second screen? Things like that. Oh, speaking of screens on AIOs. I'm a fan.
Oh, well, did you see the Trikes one?
Is that the one that was? No, that was.
So Trikes had an inverted one. I don't know how to describe it. So instead of a cube, right? Or, a normal cube.
Can you put TikToks on there?
No. So instead of a normal cube, right?
Yeah.
It imagine you take out this side. So it's indented and it has a little stage. It's literally called Stage AIO or something. So you can, and it's mirrored. So you can put a figurine on it with.
Is that the Cooler Master case? There was a Cooler Master case.
This is an AIO. So this is on like the block on an AIO. So yeah, so it's kind of like an inverted screen. So instead of the screen wrapping around like this, the screen wraps in and it has a little ledge so you can put like a figurine on it. It was super smart. I'm surprised nobody has thought of that.
I love that too.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get a whole new case, because the Cooler Master case I'm talking about is like, oh, thank you, Alex. Is like I think, what is it called? I think it was the Frame Master 360 Panoramic, I think was the name. And so it's basically the whole, so like your back panel, or I guess like the true back panel where your IO shield and all that is normal, like steel or aluminum, whatever material that would be. But the three other panels are all clear. So, obviously your cable management game has to be super on point. But there was an option where you could just it's actually three pieces, and the front piece, or like the part that you would see staring straight onto the case, is wrapped around the sides. So you don't get like the seams right on the edges. You get the seams like on the side panel side. So it looks seamless, and you can just remove that and just use that front part as a display. So they also showed that. I think there was like an option, maybe possible optional. I don't think it was included, but maybe it is. There was like an LED display you could have there as well. So you could have like a little sound, like a little stage for your figurine. You know, it could be giving a little concert or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Fantex one where it's like wrapped around the front.
Are these bent acrylic or are these bent glass?
I can't remember the Cooler Master one specifically.
But I mean, just in general, were you seeing bent glass on these?
Usually,
cases?
I feel like usually it's glass. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And yeah, but it's in multiple pieces. Yeah, no, I mean, like cases have definitely gotten very aesthetic and very cool.
Will's glare. Well, to make you feel better, I think the children are just trying to use some shorthand. That's all.
Yeah.
It's got a vibe. I think for us old people, we would say it's got a vibe.
It's got a vibe, bro.
What was the when like 10 years ago people were like, oh man, everything's gonna look like a PS1 game now because it's all like low poly
like a
models.
Cybertruck.
Was that new aesthetic? I think is what they called that. This is because of everything looked like a Cybertruck. It was whoops.
Davina says stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Davina knows what's up.
The last thing I want to talk about is the MSI Claw A8. I was excited and I was surprised. This is an AMD Claw. Yeah.
Ooh.
So this is
finally.
Yeah. I like this is a first in two ways. MSI is the first company to have a handheld that is almost identical to to have an Intel and an AMD option.
Okay, so like that's exciting.
Yeah, I think
probably
that's huge.
Intel's less enthusiastic about that.
Yeah, we'll see. But excuse me.
So what they want
but then also this is the first one to have a Ryzen Z2 Extreme in it as well.
Oh,
so that's Strix Point. So a Radeon 890M. 1920 by 1200, so 16 by 10, so a little bit taller.
Oh my gosh!
But same screen, like they reworked the internals for cooling and stuff like that. But the same Hall effect triggers and buttons.
Oh, that's fun.
The curves on the handles are a little bit different. They're more inverted rather than kind of bubbled out on the Lunar Lake one. But I mean I was surprised. Like that I did a video on that one. And we didn't get a ton of attention on it. I thought more people would be excited. I think maybe people are holding for the price because that's probably the last shoe to drop to be like, oh, okay, prices are kind of going bad on that stuff. But it looked cool.
The announcements you were seeing, like it felt like a lot of companies were not really announcing prices. Is that your vibe? Was that was the vibe I was picking up actually accurate for being on the show floor?
Oh yeah, everybody was like, "We'll get back to you on price."
That's fair. I mean, that's so fair given how things are been constantly in flux the last few months.
I got ballparks. Usually they would kind of tell us off the record, like, this is where we're trying to hit.
Well, I saw somebody was listing estimated shipping price, which is like the pre-tariff price.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I did see that too.
I feel like that was something maybe Lenovo or Asus did during the AMD keynote. I can't remember.
Height did that for their bubble case. I should stop calling it the bubble case, but there was an X50 case, the X50 and X50 Air.
Yeah.
I think they released their worldwide price for it. And then I think added a note with saying like may fluctuate based on locality, which, very obviously true.
Yeah.
Also, and we have a video up or we don't have video up yet. It needs to get edited. Did you see the MSI Retro GPUs?
No.
So they remade the.
Are they bringing the Frozer back?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
So Frozer.
Oh man,
Computex.
I had a Frozer 1080 Ti. That thing was a monster,
dude. So there was actually two of them. So one of them was the twin Frozer. So this is, and they called the Twin Frezr 2
That does
Retro.
not look like the Frozr in my heart.
Yeah,
It
well,
lives in my
this is the Frozr 2, you know. So, but it had a
Wait.
5070 or 5060 Ti.
The
I can't
Frozr
remember.
was the first greater than 2-slot video card I ever saw, I think.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And then they also had
Like
this
looking God in the face.
they had
have
this one.
The onion?
the Cyclone, yeah, and it was pure brass, not brass. Is that brass? Copper. Not only the actual fins, and then the
Did they actually
heat
get
pipes.
the Zalman cooler? Oh, they put a screen on it.
They put a screen on the top, and also you can barely see a little bit of it, but the back plate was all copper too.
Oh my God.
And
Ooh,
I was
pretty.
like, this thing is beautiful.
That is ridiculous. So this looks like that old Zalman onion cooler from 100 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. Well, but
Yeah.
it also looks like the original Cyclone
Yeah.
GPU, like
Yeah, that's
just
cool.
with newer internals. And I talked to the designer. He was there. He remembered us when we did the video with Gordon a couple
Mm-hmm.
Computexes ago. And I was like, dude, I bet this was so fun to like recreate with new stuff. And he was like, yeah. I was like, is it coming out? And he's
Can
like,
we-
yeah, we're thinking about it, but
Can we talk about this?
retro
Like,
stuff.
This is like, this is like my mini rant for the week.
Here we go.
Uh-oh,
is like-
Elena E's mini rant of
It's
the
like-
week.
It's just a mini rant, but I am really concerned about the, I guess maybe later Gen X and more elder millennial, maybe even full millennial thing where like nostalgia, like we keep trying to rehash everything, and it's like if
And
we're
the
busy
problem
doing
is-
that, how are we going to get new things?
Look-
It's so concerned. And also, like, when are we going to let our children have their own things if we're too busy trying to recreate all the nostalgia?
Our
for
children get off
ourselves?
their butts and start doing something useful, then they can have their own things.
Dang. Dang.
Look, here's the thing. This happens. This always happens. Right?
Does it?
Yeah, and
To this degree.
In the early 2000s, the kids who grew up with any Nintendos and Atari 2600s jacked the prices up for like in 1998 you could go to any flea market in the country and buy all the Nintendo cartridges you want for like 30 cents each. And 2 years later they were getting graded and like put in plastic boxes and sold at auctions and all this ridiculous stuff. Like it just happens. N64 is really hard to get now because the kids who grew up with N64s are now looking to recapture their lost youth.
And some
Like
people
you.
buy analog.
Yeah, buying analog NTs, stuff like that.
I
Yeah.
want to just remind you that
Yeah.
the people who grew up
Yeah.
with Nintendo cartridges and Atari are the same group I'm talking
No,
about.
the people who grew up with the Nintendos and NESs are solidly Gen X. They're my age.
They're later Gen X, but yes, still the group I'm talking about.
Anyway, the point is, this always happens.
The thing is, I had never seen this many retro things, and it wasn't a ton. Because I mean, think about it. Like there was a ton of new innovations. Height, Corsair, everyone was blazing a trail forward. Like the fact that there was just a little smattering of like retro stuff was like, oh, that's awesome. I was so excited for it. So I don't feel like it's stifling innovation. I think it's like, oh, hey,
just
opening up a
worry.
whole new market.
well, there's
I
also.
worry though, because it's happening in other areas.
I don't think so.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say there's also always like Computex has been a place where people have for a really long time done like one-off weird things just to get press attention or to throw red herrings to their competitors or whatever. And last year some retro stuff got a lot of press. So this year everybody's like, hey, what's your retro stuff set?
I see.
I do.
why-
I was here
yeah.
for it. I mean,
This is how we get nothing but straight line boxes for our cases.
Well, I love the GPUs. I loved the case,
You love the
retro
nightlife.
stuff. I mean, look, 8-bit do coming out. 8-bit do is all about retro aesthetics.
I get it.
So-
I just worry for us as a set of generations, as a cluster.
I think it all exists. I think it all exists together.
We're all hosts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the takeaway. It's like there's plenty of consumer product diversity to include nostalgia, right? Like
yeah, and
Is
take
this
our
the
money.
benefit to late stage capitalism, Will?
Yeah,
no, there's no benefit except for the Oreos. It's only the Oreo flavors.
Oreo flavors. Speaking of Oreo flavors, let's move over to SteamOS. We are
man.
running long. So I mean, we
Sorry.
can go this we can go through this quick if you want to move it over, Alex. So SteamOS has officially released. It was kind of timed for Computex, even though there wasn't really a reason for it to be timed with Computex. It's not like there was a new announcement. It was more like it was timed for the Lenovo Legion Go S,
Yeah.
powered by SteamOS. So that is starting to ship or take pre-orders or something. I can't remember, but that is coming into the channel. And along with that, they put up stuff on their website to say, hey, here's exactly how you install it on your Legion devices or ROG Ally devices. Not that you couldn't. People have been doing this for a couple weeks anyway, but now it's officially supported. I've watched a ton of videos, people covering this stuff, installing it on hardware. I have not tried it myself, but I do want to try it on the Lenovo Legion Go, the original one.
Yeah.
To try it there. I mean, it looks pretty straightforward. I would say the only problem right now for certain devices, and especially those that are not Legion devices that are coming with it officially, is that it lacks TDP controls. So anyone who's installing it on an ROG Ally is not able. It's capped out at 15 watts.
So you're not going to get the full benefit of the performance of the APU in there.
Yeah, unless you load a third-party plugin like Decky Loader, I think, is one of the ones that does it. Or there's ways, there's tools you can add to do it, but really, I mean, it should be built into SteamOS proper.
But like the control support and all that stuff is built in.
Yeah,
that's
full
nice.
control support, like all that kind of stuff. It just works. It's the year of Linux.
Year 2025. It's like I always say.
It's just the year of Linux. So
get all up in that CLI.
I'm excited, but this also is like, even though it's officially released, this doesn't feel like a grand, okay, now everyone go install it everywhere. It's still very much like, no, now you can go buy it with the Lenovo Legion Go S Steam powered by SteamOS version.
It seems like that's... Oh, go ahead, Elena.
Oh, no, it's okay. You first.
I was just going to say, it still seems like that's like buying the device with the OS is going to be the best way to go for the foreseeable future, just because of things like, the shader caching and stuff like that Steam does for Steam Deck and presumably the Legion Go S. I don't know. Like, are we going to have to cook shaders on Legion Go S's when it ships with Steam support?
Yeah, I don't know. I need to maybe talk to Lenovo about that. Because I don't know if the shader caching is happening on Steam's end. If
it's happening on Steam's end. Yeah, they're doing it for the Steam Deck.
Well, but for third-party devices,
that's
right? That's the question. I don't actually know. Still a lot of weird curiosities around. The installer right now also does not allow you to dual boot, meaning when you go try to install it, it wipes the whole drive. You can't just partition and say, hey, I want Windows.
There's no partitioning
There's
option?
no partitioning option. So it's like you have to commit to it or have to that you swap back and forth. So I don't know. I'm not going to say that people shouldn't try it.
Yeah.
Because, hey, SteamOS is awesome, but also this doesn't feel like
seems
what we were waiting for.
I mean, so the order of operations on installing Linux is usually that you install Windows first, and then you install Linux, and then you put a boot manager on that lets you switch between the two. If you have it? Yeah, that's the recommended.
I thought you were just supposed to commit.
I mean, if you're insane, yeah. I was gonna say the problem with this is that none of these things have two drives built in, really, for the most part. And I think when you even have
the little laptop one had two drives, but yeah, I mean,
well, and doesn't the ROG Ally X have two slots?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Yeah, so good
it's
luck.
It's just a full 2280.
I wonder if you can put one OS on the card, on the MMC card, and one on the SSD.
Oh, that's a good question. I bet
SSD.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I want to do some experimenting because the boot managers are really easy these days. Like, you just basically make a small tertiary partition and put this thing in there and set the UEFI to boot off of it, and then it just scans for bootable partitions and gives you a menu.
So there was a string of videos that went up, people being like, oh, wow, like, check out how good SteamOS is on this device. Now it gets rid of the Windows bloat, which, to be fair, yeah, there's a lot about Windows that is bloated and more than you need for a handheld device. But also at the same time, the Fox kind of put up a quick little carry the Fox THEPHAWX on YouTube.
Yeah.
Put up a quick little video showing actually it's not just pure Windows bloat. That the problem with Windows on handhelds is that it is not allocating the wattage correctly to the chip. It's using way more power than it needs to, and he showed it off by showing a third-party tool that actually made it run like it should have, kind of thing. So really it's not necessarily Windows. It's more like TDP management. Windows kind of defaults to pushing way more juice. So really good video over there showing that.
And then the other thing is, like, the other problem with Windows is that typically you have like 6 places that have to get updated constantly when there's driver updates or OS updates or Steam updates or game updates, and it's vendor specific updates. There's too many, like, whereas with SteamOS, you hit the update button in the Steam UI and it downloads the new image for the immutable OS and dumps it, and you get everything at once.
Yeah.
And then your game updates.
Interesting stuff.
So
anybody in the chat try it out? I don't, doesn't sound like
I was just going to hop to my point real quick, which kind of dovetails with Will's, which is I actually think it's not surprising to me that they would kind of almost, in my opinion, soft roll this out as opposed to just widely releasing it. Because just from the little, I haven't really been studying up on this area, but from what little that you've talked about it and what I've seen, online, is that it kind of reminds me of Chrome OS, or sorry, I should say, was it Chrome OS Flex? Where it's that, like, so that you have some devices that are officially supported, and then there are some that aren't, and you just don't know if that means you're not going to have proper audio support, if your webcam's not going to work, et cetera, on that laptop that you're trying to convert to a Chrome OS book. And I'm guessing, like, for them, if, like, it makes more sense as opposed to just saying, like, here it is for everybody, and then they're just getting flooded with all of these, like, pieces of feedback saying, like, it doesn't work for me on this, it doesn't work for this, why aren't you making it work on this, like, esoteric piece of hardware that I really wanted to work on? They're more like, here is something where it's a little more open, maybe get some feedback from that, see how that goes, and then maybe figure out from there how they want to implement this, right? Because they're not charging for it. So it doesn't, so, like, like, if you're releasing something for free, I don't think you necessarily want the customer support headaches that you would get on a paid product when you just kind of release it into the wild and get all that feedback from your users.
Yeah, and I would definitely say, like, I haven't seen anything, but I feel like a lot of the Shenzhen-based ones, like INEO and stuff like that, are going to probably switch to this and then do their own work on top of it to
make the controllers.
Have the actual
work.
drivers work.
Yeah.
So Steam's like, yeah, sure, use it. We got you most of the way there. You have to finish it off because you figure your stuff out. So
I'm excited
curious.
for that. It's good to have another option.
There's still
and like somewhere that's in between space between PC gaming, all the Windows stuff, like Will just mentioned, with having to do updates, but also kind of like that console experience where you just press one button, everything updates for you.
But I still know plenty of people who prefer the Windows version. Or like they have games that won't play on SteamOS. So dual booting is definitely something a lot of people appreciate.
Well, and the weird thing is, oddly, the SteamOS is the kind of like less hardcore version, and Windows is for the hardcore people in this case, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like it is very much a console-like experience. When I talk to people who are games journalists who have Steam Decks and love them, they're like, oh yeah, this is great because I open this thing up and it tells me if it's going to work right or not. It tells me what's going to be janky on it, and then I just hit play and it works. I'm like, oh yeah. Can't argue with that.
So cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited to mess around with it a little bit.
I am curious. What would be the technical reason for why you couldn't boot it from a separate disk? Because, like, Chrome OS Flex, you can actually run it like almost like test drive before you buy, because you can run off a USB stick.
Yeah.
Like, I'm guessing that does it hook that deeply in to the hardware that you can't do that?
So a lot of versions of Linux include a live install, like what they call a live CD or a live install, so that you can like test drive the bootable. Like, instead of booting directly into an install OS, it gives you a normal desktop that you can run, and then the installer is just another one of the programs you can run on top of the desktop when you decide you want to commit. Just probably they just haven't probably made that installer that runs outside of the, like, it's two separate things. One is like a standalone installer, and one is a Linux desktop with an installer as well.
Got it.
So, and then somebody in the chat, and I haven't substantiated this. Who is this? Razer Edge 68 said ROG Ally X doesn't support booting from SD card. So, I don't know. It's early days. I think there's plenty of people who are going to have a like how-to tutorial on doing some of this stuff. But
I will say I do love that about these smaller communities. Like for all the complaining I do about Linux evangelists, like the true like fans of Linux like have this like wonderful community-based approach, right? Where there's like always one person who's like, I wanted this to happen and now I'm going to document it. So if you also want it to happen, now you don't have to do the work I did. And I think that's lovely. I think that's great. It's just such a great community spirit.
Yeah, definitely. So more to come on that. We just wanted to touch on it quickly because, hey, that's big news. We've been waiting for this for
We've been waiting for it a long time.
The year of Linux is here. It's finally here.
It's
finally
Dude,
here.
I got another interstitial, like full screen interstitial when I booted into my Windows 10 machine this morning.
Oh.
And I have a widescreen. So it's just like, this just spans this entire 34-inch monitor of like, hey, did you know that Windows 10 is going away in October?
Yeah.
And here's a very tiny link in text if you want to continue on Windows 10. Otherwise, we're going to try to push you right now to Windows 11.
Look, I got this morning when I booted I did install an update when I booted my computer, and it was like, hey, recall's ready to go. You want to try it out? I was like, no, I'm good.
I've got it right here. I could try it.
Wow, you can unlock your photographic memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably fine.
That's what I need.
Oh, man.
Probably fine.
Oh, crap. Now I can't exit that.
So
now
during last week's
you're
Google,
running it.
There we go. Okay.
during last week's Google I.O. when they were talking about AI, and I hopefully this is still going to be relevant for the site. I wanted to write an editorial, which is just like, man, you could be the most privacy-oriented person yourself, but the moment one of your friends, your parents, whoever activates this stuff, your privacy is out the window, at least to some degree, because it's going to save all those things that you tell them and create like probably some kind of shadow. Just like how Facebook has a shadow profile on pretty much everybody in the world, because even if you're not on Facebook, it's profiling all your associates and then coming up with an idea of like, you know, who you probably associate with, how you're related to them, how you interact with them. And so it's like ready to go.
Well,
Even though you're not actually on the platform, they
true.
know.
it's the classic thing of if they know your age and your zip code, they know who you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, we need to get out of here, so let's switch over to Q&A real quick. If you got a question, we're not going to answer it. Why don't you put it in the link in the description? There's a question channel over on Discord. We're not going to answer live ones right now. I'm going to pull a couple from Discord. We are going to answer some questions, just not the. They're
just not going to be the questions.
Just not the questions that you're going to put in here.
It's not your question. Sorry.
Yeah, not your question. Anyway, there's a link over to Discord in the description. Yeah. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm losing steam here. I need some lunch. Here we go. From front of the show, Ziv says, welcome back from Computex. Do y'all have any products you saw at the show on the way for review or planned for later in the year?
Jensen held up a 5060 on the stage.
Yeah. Theoretically, we were supposed to have one by now.
Are you salty about that, Will?
I did a lot of
can't tell.
benchmarking last week, Elena.
To get ready, yeah.
To get ready, to be here, ready to go. And then guess what? No card.
No card, yeah.
Can't imagine why you would be upset.
No, I love sitting here running benchmarks for 15 or 20 hours and then getting nothing. It's my favorite.
Well, thank you.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have to run them again because of potential driver releases?
I don't.
They haven't, yeah.
No, I used when I benchmarked the older Nvidia cards, I downloaded the driver that was available on the release day for the 5060, so we'll use that one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad for you.
Hashtag not bitter.
Yeah, so we'll see. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of products. Most I can't talk about, but yes, we have stuff coming in. Good stuff. I'm excited.
Was there a lot of stuff that's actually like shipping now, or was it still a lot of like to come in the future kind of stuff that you saw that you were excited about?
It's a mixture. I would say most was coming in the future, but there's some short-term stuff. I mean, we know the 9060 XT launch is coming in the relative near future. The NZXT had a micro ATX version of their Flow, H3 Flow. That looked really nice.
Really?
So, yeah. I was like, mini ITX? Come on. So, yeah, there's definitely stuff coming in. Here we go. Oh, I've not seen this name before. Johan, Jane Korrick, a new friend of the show.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. First time, long time. I said that, they didn't say that. Love the show. I'm halfway through the old episodes and enjoying so much. Question: I lost half my field of vision due to brain hemorrhage a couple years ago. I'm sorry about that. So I feel that big monitors don't suit me anymore. I'm sticking to max 24-inch screens now. Do you think 1080p is enough for that size? And if so, what GPU to get? Mostly production, but also some gaming. I've used Nvidia so far, and I have an old GTX 1080 now. Oh, hold on to that bad boy. That's great.
Oh boy.
Built a new computer recently, but not yet the GPU. Thanks for your help. Thanks for listening.
Oh, sorry. I probably shouldn't be just jumping in. I am not a specialist in this field, but I guess my follow-up question, and I guess because you're in our Discord, you can talk to us more about that. But I would want to know if the loss of eyesight also means that like you also have some difficulties with like how much you can focus with the remaining sight, because that I think also influences it, right? Because for people who like, let's say like typical vision, when you're younger, we often say like, yeah, so like high density, like more pixels on a screen is fine. But then like we've had older audience members write in and say like, hey, as I've gotten older, like I actually don't mind the like less pixel density on like say a 1080p monitor on stretched over 27 inches. It actually is much more comfortable for me. So I think that also is going to be a factor in there. If you're at 24 inches, then 1080 should be fine. But if you still, if your eyesight still can focus well on like higher pixel density, then you might want to consider 1440p. It's just going to be pretty tight at 24.
The thing I'll say is that a lot of Windows UI and a lot of programs like Premiere has a hard time squeezing into 1080p and giving you a reasonable like preview window and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it depends on what kind of they say they do some production. I don't know what kind of production they do. I think 1080p is totally fine for games. Like I played on a 24-inch 1080p panel for a really long time.
But that was ultra wide, wasn't it?
No, it's normal.
No?
Normal 1080p
16:9.
360.
Oh, okay.
360 hertz.
Is it possible to split some of that for the production work over two screens? So like you would have like maybe, so like maybe you'd have like the 124-inch at 1080 if that's comfortable. Like again, if you can do 1440p comfortably, great. But if not, then maybe you could be like 24 inches 1080p for like your primary, and then like maybe have a secondary window for all like the toolbars and whatnot. So that way it's like split over that and still comfortable to view. I don't know. Just a thought.
I think a lot of this depends on how far your monitor is from where your eyes are too, right? If you have a 2-foot deep desk, your answer is going to be different than if you have a 4-foot deep desk or you're hanging off the wall or something behind you. So I mean, the thing I would say is when you buy something, get it someplace that you can return it without it paying a restocking fee in case it doesn't work out for you. And the best way to do it is probably to try it for a little bit. In terms of 1080p for games, kind of anything that's not an 8 gig card is fine at this point. I think is fairly safe.
I mean, the 1080 is probably still rocking 1080p fine, depending on what you want to do and upscaling and
what kind of games you're playing.
And also, if you're getting a high refresh rate monitor at 24 inches, right? So if you want it to be more fluid, then But I think honestly, a 1080 is still working. That's the GOAT right now.
I think a 1080 is probably the drivers are end of life at this point.
Drivers end of life.
The frame, the micro stutter and 1% low problems on 1080s when we ran those benchmarks last year to compare to the Battle Mage card were pretty abysmal. So I would look at a 3060 12 gig before it depends on what your budget is. But yeah, I think a 9070 XT, something like somewhere in that kind of price range is probably pretty good. Like is going to last you a long time at 1080p, especially.
Well, and also if you don't mention what kind of production work, but if you're talking like video production work, I mean the encoders on the new GPUs are definitely would make a huge difference as well. So
and then the other thing for the higher for the if you end up getting a higher resolution monitor, if you can't find a monitor that's the size you want at the resolution you want, the scaling in Windows, as long as all of your panels are scaled to the same place, is pretty good these days. The place where it's still really janky is if you have one like 4K and one 1080p panel, you're going to have a bad time with that.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks for writing in. It's a curious case indeed. Yeah, it is funny. A lot of people do love ultra wides and stuff like that, but yeah, not everyone.
If you stream, you don't use ultra wides because it makes streaming games a real pain.
Yeah. So, let's do one more. Before we get out of here, let's see. Okay. Yeah. I should have edited some of these before.
While you're looking for your
Yeah,
question, I'm
please.
just going to reiterate one from last time that you were on the show
You
before
mean
you headed out to
this one?
Computex.
Will anyone from PCWorld be at the launch day for the Sunnyvale Microcenter?
Yeah.
Oh,
Worth
hey.
answering again.
Elena, what's the answer?
Yes. The answer is yes. I feel like, are we doing LineCon as well as just going to the opening? Are we going to be lining up before the opening, or are we just only going to be there at 10 a.m.?
Well, the ribbon cutting is at 9:45, and
Okay.
so yeah, we definitely plan on being there before the ribbon cutting. I don't know what the line's going to look like. I don't know if there is going to be a line. I mean, I'm excited, but I don't know if other people are excited to go wait in line for Microcenter.
Are you going to bring the PCWorld microphones and just like go up to people?
Maybe,
and
yeah.
ask them?
Well, I am
How long
asking
have you
about
been in line?
yeah,
What are you here for?
this or that. We just go up to everybody and be like AMD or Nvidia, or for a GPU, or yeah, just get some random polls.
Love a random poll.
I think it'd be fun. I am actually asking about like if we can actually film inside during this time, even though it's public. So outside is probably fine, but we don't want to invade people's rights.
Well, we don't have to blur out a million faces. is
Yeah,
the real
that
thing,
too.
I
Well,
think.
yeah, we don't. He
Poor
would do
Alex.
it. So yeah.
There's probably a filter for that now, right?
But you just heard that.
Did you hear the snort?
The snort.
I don't know
snorted.
what the camera view is on, but I can see from my viewpoint, just like I think the smile that appeared on Alex's face. Like, okay.
He's like, yep.
Yeah, let's just set up a camera inside the door when they open the door, so there's everybody mobs in. It'll be like 300 faces. It'll be great. Alex
Yeah.
loves that. Right?
Every single one.
Yeah.
Use AI. You just use AI to do it.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be that fake, is it bokeh? Like
Yeah.
that's just to save some time,
They
right?
just blur
so,
the
like,
whole
you don't
thing.
have
Yeah,
to
blur
do
everything.
individual faces.
Just smear Vaseline over the camera. Did you see the thing where this is maybe old at this point, but it came up for me the first time? Did you see the thing where you can completely de-blur? Like any Gaussian blur filter is basically reversible at this point, so you shouldn't use it to blur out
Shoot.
private information on videos anymore.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
Color
so
bars.
you're
Thanks.
telling me,
Color bars,
Will,
everybody.
you're telling me that my paranoia is paying off?
Yeah, being paranoid is never look just because you're
'Cause
paranoid doesn't
actually-
mean they're not out to get you, Elena. That's the thing. to
Wow, that's
remember.
amazing. Because
Yeah.
like I've had colleagues like give me crap for this. Where like I will actually just wholesale cut the text out, fill it over, and then add fake text and blur that.
Yeah. Or
Oh,
I
that's
do
actually
the
pretty funny.
mosaic where I make it like 2 blocks high, so there's just no information left in there. The mosaic blur, yeah, yeah,
Okay. I just take the screen and then smudge Vaseline on it
that works
and
too.
then shoot the screen.
Just on your monitor.
Yeah, on
that's
the
good.
monitor. Yeah. Let's get out of here. We've got questions, but we'll save them. We'll save them for the show next week because Brad's not going to be here. Maybe Elena comes in and we just do an all in person episode. No remote. No
Oh.
Brad.
Oh, and then are we also doing like nothing but rumors?
We did that already, didn't we?
Yeah. I don't know if there's enough rumors.
Yeah, it seems
Anymore.
Look,
Yeah.
look.
We just make up rumors.
We just make up rumors. There we go. Yeah, we just plant
Next
rumors.
week we're gonna rank the Doom gibbets that you brought back from
Yeah.
Computex.
Yeah. Yay, Doom.
Yeah.
I do think we should do some kind of build challenge soon, though. I think that would be fun.
We should. Yeah. Maybe that's what we do next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be sad to leave Brad out of that, though.
Yeah, that's true.
He never wins anyway.
Wow. Wow, shots fired.
Hear that?
Adams gets Elena just dropped. She was like, I'm not gonna be part of this.
No. Oh no, she's
she's
back.
I didn't
Okay.
touch anything. I don't know what's going on with Zoom and
job,
this
Zoom.
PC today.
Everything's fine. Don't-
Everything's fine, including the show. Check back next week. We don't know what's going to be, but it will be a show next week on Tuesday for your talk of PC hardware here on the Full Nerd.
Do I need to do that again?
Nope, you
Okay,
don't. No,
good to
I
know.
want to thank our sponsor, Silverstone, for sponsoring this episode. I appreciate that. And if you want to listen to us on the go, you can point any of the RSS readers to the Full Nerd. We
Where
should be there.
podcasts are found.
Where
Yeah.
podcasts are found. Fine podcasts are found on Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Deezer, Overcast. Well, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we're there.
Downcast, Simplecast, iHeartRadio.
That's not Simplecast.
I don't know. I'm just
We're probably
making
on
things up right now.
iHeartRadio.
We're somewhere. Please please leave a review. We haven't gotten a review in a while. I don't think it's making my heart sad.
Oh, don't make Adam's heart sad.
Yeah, you gotta review us and rate us. Leave a comment. Every time you do, leave a comment. Somebody makes a new scented thermal paste, and it warms
Just
my
for
heart.
Adam.
Just just for me. I want to thank the co-host with the moistest, Brad Charkis. Thanks, guys.
Wow.
See you later. I'm Brad Charkis. And thank you, Elena Yee, for holding down the box.
Yeah. I also want to say to Silverstone, I do love your cases. I still have my SG10, and I'm never letting that one go.
Is that the Sugo?
Yeah, it's a little like boxy Sugo. That's like yeah.
My favorite Silverstone was that Raven, the one that they did the rotate. It was like rotated 90 degrees so that the ports were on the top.
Oh, yeah.
It was a bad idea, but it was a good bad idea.
People stole that. I remember that. Anyway, thank you, Will, for hanging out.
Always a pleasure.
Glad to be back. I need a nap. I'm tired.
Yeah, you look like
I'm done.
Lay down.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And last but not least, thank you, Alex, for controlling verticals horizontals. Get us out of here, Alex. Get us out.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week. Get some rest.
Yeah.
Get some sleep.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on the next episode.
Boom.
This music rips.
We're still.